one thing, and I told you the page and everything.
Okay. Right. All right. Good morning.
Morning, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Great morning.
Morning. How are you?
Great, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Good
praise God.
morning.
Thank Auntie Shaky for giving me the link.
Oh, okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, wonderful. Well, anytime, well, it's good to see everybody. And anytime you're here before 7, this is a wonderful time if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just for you to know for future. This is a wonderful time to do it. That's why we get here early, just in case there is a question or something we can answer or whatever. So just FYI.
Thank
I
you. I
forgot
appreciate
it was 7 o'clock for y'all because it's 9:52 for us.
Mhm. Yeah, 6:50 over here. 6:52. Yeah. This class, when it first started, it wasn't like it is now. This started on a kind of completely different premise, but this class used to start at 5 in the morning, our time, 8 in the morning, East Coast time.
That's what I'm saying. You up dedicated, like, period. I know that's right.
I mean, that's why I'm gonna say it this way. That's why I talk to you all the way I do, because I am what I say. Not mistake free, but like I am what I say. And so I'm living the same style of living that we talk about on here. It's not just an outfit, right? Or a Sunday or a couple hours. It is a style of living every day, all the time with everything, right? And yeah, that's the way we can be and we will be when we know who we are. It becomes this easy work then. When struggle really just comes from the incongruence of activity and identity, right? And so then people try to bridge that inequality or incongruence with what they call discipline or willpower, not really knowing what the word discipline means. And willpower is nothing but a better way of saying grinding or hustling or forcing or efforting or trying, right? So yeah, it's wonderful, man, when you're doing what you like to do as well. When you're being who you want to be, makes it much easier too.
that.
I
That was
have
amazing. Oh, okay.
no, sorry. You can go. I'm so sorry.
I have a question for you. I've been seeing a lot of posts. People are always saying you have to release your old identity, like die to the old you in order to make the new you work better. Like you see things and it's like what got you here won't get you to the next level. So how is it and what do you recommend for someone and anyone just to be able to remove, I guess, the past identity to build on a new identity to get to the next higher level?
Okay. So to your point, the premise is true, meaning you can't be two people at once, right? You can't be the person who is and the person who isn't, or the person who has and the person who hasn't. So only one of those can live. You can be either one of them, but you can't be them both at the same time. So the one that you're being is not is causing the things that you're seeing and is the way you react and respond to the world that you are creating, to the experiences that you are creating because of who you're being. So, how do you do that? Well, it is just a matter of choosing the you that you want to. What experience do you want to have with something? What experience do you want to have as yourself? It's about choosing an identity because you're everything you want to be already. It's not a matter of you not being, it's a matter of you not seeing who you are. But that is because of who you already have chosen to be. So, meaning if you come out of your driveway and you turn right, everything you see is a reflection of right. It's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's a reflection of the direction you have chosen to take. If you were to reverse and then you turn left, immediately you're only going to see things that reflect left. So what happens is there is no good or bad, right or wrong in the highest form of thinking. There isn't. There's only, if I turn right, everything represents right. If I turn left, everything represents left. Depending on what I see, I call that good or bad, right or wrong. That's the human brain trying to quantify things and qualify things. So to answer your question a little more quickly, it is just a matter of choice. When you come out of your driveway, do you want to turn left or turn right? When you wake up in the morning, do you want to turn left or turn right? Do you want to be this person or this person? Do you want to be this version of yourself or that version of yourself? It is a matter of choice. You choose who you want to be. Once you activate left, when you turn left, I choose to be this. When you choose to turn left, then the word decision comes down. Decision, right, is a Latin word, and it means to cut off. So as soon as you turn left, you've cut off right. Everything that would represent right, you will not see because you've turned left. And so everything now that you're seeing is a reflection of the choice you made. And the decision comes down to separate you from everything that represents something different than what you've chosen. So when you are one thing and you decide, hey, I want to be, if you are sick and you want to be healthy, okay, I've been sick. I'm in a state of sickness. Sickness and health are just states. They're just things that you're able to occupy with a choice because your awareness. So you're like, okay, what do I want to be now? I've been sick. I think I want to be healthy now. So basically you're saying, okay, I've turned left. Now I want to start turning right. Right is always available to you. We have just been taught and told that it isn't. So, but you can't turn right and turn left is what people are telling you. You can't be the old you and the new you. So to answer your question, it's just a matter of choice. What do you want to choose? Everything you are now is because of a choice you made, whether it's in awareness or ignorance. A lot of choices that we have made and that we continue to make, we have made when we didn't know better. A lot of times it was during our youth when we learned something or believed something, accepted something, or it's when we just didn't know better. I thought this was right, but I didn't know it. And now I realize it's not correct or it's not what I want to be, right? So, but because we've been that so long, we think we have lost the ability to choose something else. So it's just a matter of choice because what you are now is because of a choice you made, whether it's an hour ago or 10 years ago, that you continue to stick with. That's why when you tell people, oh, change this or change that, people will fight so hard to hold on to who they are, even if they don't like it, because that is something that they have repeated so long that it's not that to them. Comfort is more important than an alternate experience. Even though they would really like something different, the comfort, the familiarity with who they have been is really what encourages them to remain as they are, even when they don't like it. So it's very simple. It can feel hard or challenging, and that's even what we're telling ourselves. But let's just say, it can feel hard or challenging to say, okay, I'm going to turn right when you've been turning left for decades or for whatever. But you never lose the ability to turn right. You never lose the ability to choose. And choosing is your most powerful ability in human form because all things are created. Now it's just a matter of what out of all the things that are created, what are you going to choose to experience? And the choices you make are coming from the identity that you already have, right? Because I'm this, I choose that. Because I'm this, I don't choose that. So your ability to choose, I want to be something else, so I choose the thing that represents who I want to be now. From where we are, there's darkness, right? It says, in the beginning, there was darkness, and God said, let there be light. So when we are without what we want to be, it's dark. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means we're not experiencing it. So what we want to do is say, from dark, I'm going to pick light. A lot of times we want that thing to show up before we pick it, but that thing will never show up before we pick it because even though everything exists, we only see who we are. We can only see who we're being. We won't see a lot of things because it doesn't match our identity. So we won't see it at all, or we won't pick up on it, even if it's in our world. So it's just a matter of choosing, who do you want to be now? Who do you want to be next? And once you choose that, then you cut the old you off. In the Bible, it says, cutting the old man off, right? Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to take a new thought, a new choice, make a new choice, choose a new identity for yourself. And from there, you walk in it. From there, you create a new experience. From there, you see the world from that identity and from that awareness of being. Once you keep walking in that, it will start to feel normal, just like the old thing, the current thing that we have, right? But it feels different because a lot the choices we're making now, we're so aware of. We're so aware of making a choice. Kind of like when somebody has surgery, they knock you out, right, with anesthesia. You're unconscious. They can cut your arm off and cut your chest open. They can do anything because you're in a lower state of consciousness. You're not aware, so you don't feel pain there. But when you're awake, if you get a paper cut, you'll almost pass out, right? You'll be like, God, how does something so small hurt so bad? Well, it's only because you're conscious. When you're unconscious in surgery, they can cut on you and you won't move, right? You only feel it again once you rise to a level of consciousness as you awaken. So a lot of the pain of change we feel is just really a reflection of now we're aware of what's happening. So we feel the discomfort of choosing something and of changing something. But when we first picked the things that we no longer wanted to be, we were in a lower, we weren't as, so it didn't feel like we were doing something big. It didn't feel like it was this monumental thing, but it wasn't any different. The old you and the new you are no different as far as what it takes to be them and maintain them. But as we awaken, as we become more aware, change feels more intense but it's simply because we're aware. So it's just about choosing who you want to be now from where you are. I want to be this. If I'm this, then I'm this. I can't be this and that. So it's about choosing something and sticking with it. That's what faith is, my definition, right? Is making a choice and sticking to it. Faith is not the choice you make. It's about making the choice, but what you do. Faith is what you do after you make a choice. Making a choice and sticking with that choice. I am this no matter what I say. That's why it says walk by faith and not by sight. Because when you're using your faith, you're making a choice to be something that at the current moment you don't see yourself as. You don't have the experience of. You're not doing in the moment. But faith means I do know how the mind works. Therefore, I know that from where I am, I can still choose to be what I want to be next. And from where I am, if I choose that and I stay with that choice, then I will I will become, meaning I will experience that which I've already chosen to be. As soon as you say you are something, you are, but you just don't see it that way yet. It's not familiar to you yet, but you are actually that right now. Now it's just a matter of continuing to walk in this choice that you made for yourself. That's faith, is the choice you make and the unwillingness to change it. No matter what you see, feel, taste, touch, hear, no matter what's in your evidence world, I am this thing. And I will remain it until that which I've told myself becomes physically expressed. Long answer, short question, but
No, thank you. But I have a follow-up question,
sure.
if that's okay. Yes. Okay, so your brain and your eyes can always lie to you because they use to protect you from certain things. And so they can force you to stay in a pattern of where you're trying to leave. How do you get for your brain, your eyes, and your identity to fall in alignment based off? And yes, I understand, completely biblical. You walk by faith, not by sight. But if your brain and your eyes are using everything to protect you and to keep you from going to the next level, how do you get everything to work in synchrony to make sure that it does get you to the next level? Because your brain and your eyes always try to protect you first before they let you fly.
Correct. So correct and incorrect. So correct. Well, your brain's job, your eyes are a function of your brain, right? Your brain's job, the human body's job is that, first of all, the human body is not a living thing. You are a living thing. So the human body only is like the manager of all the things that you create. So say you're the owner of a business and you hire some employees. Those employees didn't come up with the business plan. They don't come up with the hours of operation. They don't come up with their uniform. They don't come up with what the business is. They don't come with that. But you've hired them because you have already come up with that. So no matter how many hours they work, you don't work for them. They work for you. So your brain and your eyes are your employees. You don't work for them, they work for you. They don't stop you from doing anything. They just let you know what you've placed in. So you may say, hey, Karen, do we have any more blouses in the back? Right? Because you don't see them with your eyes, but your manager may, the people you've hired may say, oh yeah, we haven't unpacked them out of the box yet. So then they'll go get them. But the whole point is that they always work for you. So it doesn't matter what you see, it only matters what you say, because your brain and your eyes work for you. So they're in control of the things that you've already given them. They're not in control of the oversight of the business. They're not the creator of the business. You are the creator of the business. So it is your job as the owner, when you hire new employees, like your brain and your eyes, those are your employees. It's your job to onboard them. It's your job to tell them, this is how we do things here. Because your brain and your eyes are reactive. They are created. They're not creative. They don't make things. They don't control things. They only respond and react to things that exist. That's why your brain will say, oh, or your eyes will say, since I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Your brain will say, well, since I haven't experienced it, it doesn't exist. But that is because they are created. They're not creative. So they have to wait for something to be given in order to say it exists, or in order to be able to manage it, right? But the owner has to bring in those things that the employees manage, right? You're the one that had to buy the product first. You're the one that had to have the building first. You're the one that you had to be first. So the owner's job is to think. The owner's job is oversight. Now you can work because maybe one of your employees didn't come in. You can work because maybe you feel like, I want to do this. But the owner's job, the most important job of the owner, is oversight, is thinking, is the plan. And so you hire people to execute the plan, which you're thinking and feeling to be true. So once you understand the roles, then you understand why your brain says, oh, this doesn't exist. Or your mind says, or your eyes say, this isn't true. Well, it's because it hasn't seen it, or it's not currently seeing it. But everything that it does see or has seen was created by you, the owner. Every blouse that it does unpack, you bought. Every sale that it made is because of something you bought. So yes, the employees don't see the product until it comes into the store, but the owner knows the product is coming because you ordered it. So your brain and your eyes don't prevent you from rising to the next level or to any level. Their job is to manage the level that you're on. So they don't understand the next level. Only the owner does. The employees don't understand. They're not trying to figure out how you're going to scale your business, or if you're going to move to another location, a bigger location. That's the owner's job. So your employees don't prevent you from doing anything, but their job is to manage what you've already secured, right? And they manage it according to how you tell them to manage it. They work the hours you want them to work. And if you let the employees run your business without your oversight, it generally doesn't work out well, right? But because they're going to sell everything you have, let's say, but they're not going to reorder. They don't know who your supplier is necessarily. They don't have the money to order it the way you do. They're not going to pull out of their own pocket. So your physical body is where you execute, your physical body is your employee. Brain, eyes, ears, everything that you can touch is an employee of I am. Everything of what people call God, I am, consciousness. Consciousness created that body. The body didn't create consciousness. So our body is not a living thing until the breath of life was breathed into it. That's I am. So when we say I am something, whatever we're believing ourselves to be is what we use our physical world to express ourselves as or through. So that's like a painter believes itself to be a painter. So the canvas is just a place where the painter can express itself. The canvas doesn't make the paint. The canvas doesn't stop you from being or make you be a good painter. It's just where you get to see what type of painter you are, right? But it doesn't stop you or it doesn't help you. It only is a place where you get to express you. And you is I am. Who are you believing yourself to be when you say Susan? Who do you believe yourself to be when you say Leanne? Whoever you believe that self to be, that is the painter that's painting that canvas. So that canvas is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be, not your hands or your arms. There's a picture I show sometimes. I show it probably once a year where it's a beautiful picture and everybody looks at it. And they're like, wow. And I say, well, what do you think about this picture? And everybody will say, oh, well, it's this or that. And then I tell them, well, this person has no arms. And they painted this picture with their feet. So people are always taken back. Well, they're taken back because the picture doesn't look deficient in any way. But when I say they don't have any arms, they're blown away because I just looked at this picture and I would have never thought that a person without hands or arms could do this. Well, so your brain, so people are using their brain to assume what is possible and how it's possible, but that doesn't make it true. But your brain uses the information it has to say what's real or not real, possible or not possible, but it doesn't have access to the supplier, so it doesn't order. It doesn't have access to the account, so it doesn't have the money to order. That is consciousness' job. That's your awareness of being's job, based on what you're telling yourself. So your first question is, this identity does it this way. This identity does it that way. Is the identity you're currently holding executing or performing in a way that you're having the physical experience that you want? If it is not, then you choose a different version of yourself and say, okay, I'm now choosing the version of me who lives this way. And because I'm this version, I use this, I do this, I make it this way, I make these choices, I do it this way. It's all of it exists, but we only pick from who we're being. That's why your identity, the law of being, is the most important law. It's the primary law. It's not even the law of assumption, because you're only assuming who you're being. It's not attraction, because you're only attracting who you're being. You're only having the physical experiences that match your awareness of being, right? So your physical body does not help you or hurt you. It's where you execute you. It's where you execute the awareness of being who you are, right? And when you change your consciousness, when you change who you believe yourself to be, then you will use the same frame to execute differently. So that way, because it's an expression of a different mind, right? So the physical world is not creative. It's a cosigner. It's just the canvas didn't create anything. It just cosigned. The painter used the canvas to express itself. You use your body to express yourself. You use the physical world to express yourself. And so you only do things, see things, respond and react to things as you believe yourself to be. And when you change who you believe yourself to be, then what you do, what's done to you, how you react and how you respond, all change to mirror who you're being right now. That's why you can always change who you are, right? It's just a matter of, are you going to be committed to that without an understanding that, yes, your employees don't know when the order is coming, or they didn't make the order. So what you know and what they know are two different things. Hey, do we have any more blouses in the back? No. We're out. We're out. You're like, oh, some will be here in 2 hours. Both are true. Your brain is telling you we're out. We don't have anything to work with. So the brain doesn't know what to do in that moment, but you do. You're like, oh, okay. Well, it's 2 hours away, so don't worry about it. You can just mop and stuff until they get there. So what they're telling you is true, but you understand what you know to be true as well. And you understand why they don't know that truck is coming, because you placed the order, they didn't.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Well, happy Saturday. You can see everybody, we're always up and firing already. It kind of, all right. Vanessa, do you have that thing that I sent you? Do you have it pulled up? I think I'm gonna kind of keep it as we're going. I was gonna go into some other stuff, but I'm gonna keep it as we're going because Suzanne, I believe that's your name, if I can see it right from here. This is an answer to your question. There's a part in here that answers your question, and that I'm just going to read this. We're going to read this really quick. So please put your hand up if you can read, but it's going to answer your question in story form. And there's a part of it that I want you, because you asked the question, but you're a player on the team, right? So when I'm talking to one player, I'm talking to everybody so we can understand it. And then Suzanne, I see your hand, so it's perfect. I am going to tell you when I want you to read, because I want you to read your answer, but I'm going to tell you when I want you to read, because I know where it is. All right. So Vanessa, I'll pick Suzanne when it's time, but you can pick.
Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands so far, just so you know when you want people to break off and start the next person, okay?
Okay.
All right. Auntie Shaky.
All right. Good morning, you guys. Okay, so only the most complete and intense use the law of assumption could have produced such results in the extreme situation. 4 years ago, a friend of our family asked that I talk with his 28-year-old son who was not expected to live. he was suffering from a rare heart disease. This disease resulted in a disintegration of the organ. Long and costly medical care had been of no avail. Doctors held out no hope for recovery. For a long time, the son had seemed confined to his bed. His body had shrunk to almost a skeleton, and he could talk and breathe only with great difficulty. His wife and 2 small children were home when I called, and his wife was present throughout our discussion. I started by telling him that there was only one solution to any problem, and that solution was a change of attitude. Or is that altitude? Wait a minute.
Attitude.
Attitude, okay. Since talking exhausted him, I asked him to nod in agreement if he understood clearly what I said. This he agreed to do.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let's see. So, all right. Yes. All right, Suzanne, this one is for you.
I described the facts underlying the law of consciousness. In fact, that consciousness was the only reality. I told him that the way to change any condition was to change his state of consciousness concerning it, as a specific aid in helping him to assume the feeling of already being well. I suggested that in imagination, he see the doctor's face expressing incredulous amazement in finding him recovered, contrary to all reason from the last stages of an incurable disease. That he see him double checking in his examination and hear him saying over and over, "It's a miracle. It's a miracle."
Perfect. Okay. Will you go back up, Vanessa, please? Right to where she started. Okay. Now, Suzanne, this is the benefit of getting here before 7 o'clock because you were first up. So what does it say here? It says, I describe the underlying law of consciousness. In fact, that consciousness, your awareness of being, who you tell yourself you are, the state that you're occupying right now, is the only reality. So what we call reality is just the expression of the state that we're in. Let me give an example. If we go to a movie theater, and you know how there's 5 or 6 different rooms that are showing different movies, right? If you go into a movie theater, if you go into one of the rooms and there's comedy, if you go into another room and there's horror, you go into another room and there's action, you go into another room and there's a romantic comedy. If you're standing outside the hallway and you have all those different options, which one of those are reality?
The one you choose. The one you choose.
The one, say,
The one you choose.
the one you choose. So then your reality, so when you walk into the romantic comedy or whichever one you walk into, then once you walk into that, what do you call that then?
Reality.
No, reality is the fact that there's options.
The expression. Oh, the
No, I was going to
experience.
say there's none. None is reality because all of those are something that someone made, and it's just an image of what they chose to be, whether it's a documentary or a movie. Some of them could be based on a true story, but the reality is the only decision that I make. The reality is that I have choices and options of what I choose to do
Okay.
and what I choose to believe.
So then choice is to have a choice. Choice means that you have more than one option. That's literally what choice means. You don't have a choice if there's only one option. So that means to have a choice means you have more than one option. So choices are a reflection of the fact that choices, options, are a component of reality. When you step in one of those rooms, that is what you call your reality. That is now the physical expression of the choice that you stepped into. But all of them exist. But you chose to step into one. So now when you step into that comedy, you're going to say, this is reality. I'm watching a comedy. But comedy is no different than you step into that hallway, come back out the hallway. There is poverty, there is sickness, there is health, there is wealth, there's check to check, there's not enough, there is abundance. All of those things are options. They're all choices. The one you step into is the one that you call reality. This is now my experience. It's the room that I've stepped into. I have chosen this one, whether it's in ignorance or in awareness, or I made a mistake, but I stepped into that room. So what I'm seeing is not all there is to see, but it is all I will see in this room. There's a bunch of different movies going on, different genres going on, but I'm only seeing the one that I've stepped into, that I'm saying I am, right? When I'm outside the in the hallway before I step into any of these, right? I am. Now when I step into comedy, I am comedy. If I come out, I step into horror, I am horror, or I am horrified. The room itself is like the brain and the eyes. They exist, but you're in charge of of how they work, or if they don't, if you go in, how you use them or don't. They're not in charge of anything. They don't have a say. The room can't make you come in. But we're so used to going into certain rooms that we start feeling like it's inevitable, or this is just reality. But we are reality. We are. I am is reality. When you step in that room, that is the specific or particular part of reality that you've chosen to express. You could have picked comedy, you could have picked money, you could have picked health, you could have picked poverty. All of those are just options. They're just choices. That's why I said earlier, your greatest superpower in physical human form is your ability to choose. But what you choose is dictated by who you've already chosen to be. We think choice is separate from us. It's not, it's an expression of us. We choose things based on who we first think we are, right? So what does it say? In fact, that consciousness was the only reality. What did he say? I told him that the way to change any condition, the way to change anything is to change your state of consciousness concerning it. So when you go into a comedy and you're like, oh, that's not the one I want to see. I want to see the action movie. Well, you can't stay in the comedy and hope for it to change. You're only in the room where comedy is shown. That movie is never going to reflect action. There may be some action in it, but it's only to support the fact that it's a comedy. The only way you're going to see the action movie is if you step out of that room or out of that state, right? You change your consciousness, your state of consciousness, and go in and start identifying yourself as the movie you want to see, as the genre you want to see. I told him the only way to change any condition was to change your state of consciousness concerning it. The only way to change any physical expression that you have, whether it is your money, your health, your business, your relationships, is to walk out of the current room you're in and go into the room that you want to see. Step out of, I am this thing. Now I'm no longer that thing. I'm now this thing. And when you walk into that new room, it's new for a second. The movie may already be playing. You're like, oh, what's going on? Or it's getting ready to play, but it's already available. So we're not waiting on the Lord. We're not waiting on anything. That movie, that room is waiting on you, but that room is waiting on you because it can't make you come. Only you can decide to go in there. It can't pull you in, but it's available to you now. But we only pick according to our awareness. What if we don't know that what room the movie's in? What if we're young and we think all the rooms show the same movie? That doesn't make it true, but it makes it true for us. That is what is guiding and guarding our experience, is first who we are, and from who we are, we believe or don't believe. We like or don't like. We're allergic or not allergic. Reality is not a fixed thing. Everyone is having their own experience because all of us are believing ourselves to be something different. How do we know that? Why do you think we all have different names? Our physical expressions are just the differences in our mind that express different physical things. So to change any condition, you have to change your state of consciousness concerning it as a specific aid in helping him to change the consciousness, feeling meaning consciousness of already being well. So this person is sick. No, there's no hope for life, and they are going to die. And so he's saying to him, the only way to change the situation, you've already gone to the doctor. You've already whittled down to a skeleton. The only way this is going to change for you, and you already have proof because you've already done all the physical things you can do. You've done everything you could with your brain. You've done everything you could with your eyes. You've done everything you could with your money. You've done everything you could with your time, and you're still dying. So the only way to change this physical expression, because the only creation of any physical expression is from consciousness. You're believing yourself to be something, and it's expressing. So now if what you're seeing in reality, called expression, physical expression, if what you're seeing you don't like, you have to change what's creating it. You have to change what is putting this, what you're seeing and why you're seeing it. And that is a change of self. It's a change of your awareness, how you're identifying yourself. I am the person who is what. And based on the person who I am being, this is why and what I'm seeing. This is why and what and how I react and respond to things. It's all coming from that identity. Every scene that you see in that comedy represents and reflects comedy. It doesn't represent or reflect horror. There may be something gruesome in it. There may be something sad in it, but all of those things are still supporting only one genre of movie. Doesn't matter how different the things look in a moment. They're all still supporting comedy. That's why in comedy, someone can slip and fall and we laugh. In a horror movie, somebody can slip and fall and we panic like, girl, boy, you better get up quick, you're gonna die. But they both slipped and fell. So the action was the same, but we interpret it through the genre of the movie we're watching. We know this means it's over for you or close. Or we all sit there and laugh and crack up because somebody slipped and fell. But the actual actions are the same. So the actions don't actually define whether something's true or not. It defines, your identity defines to you what this action means based on who you're already being. Right? So only a change of consciousness will change your physical experience. That's it. It's not how hard you work. It's not how much effort you put into it. It's not how much money you spend. It's not how much money you make. It's not your gender, your race, your culture, your creed, none of that. It's none of those things. All of those things are expression of your identity. So once you choose your identity wisely, then everything else flows out of that. All the choices you make, all the actions you make, actions are not created, they're cosigners. They're not creative, they're cosigners. Labor is what happens when you are trying to physically do something that is incongruent to your identity. So then what do? I'm gonna make it work. I'm a grind. I'm a hustle. I'm going to use discipline, which is not the right word. I'm going to use willpower. I'm gonna slap myself in the face and tell myself I can do it 50 times in the mirror. All of those things are what you have to do when you are physically trying to do something you don't believe yourself to be, or you're not willing to entertain that. See, faith is the fact that I am willing to tell myself a different story from where I stand, not when I get there. You can't get there before you tell yourself the new story. The story you're in, where you are now, is because of what you've been telling yourself. If you don't stop telling yourself that, you won't be able to get to that desire. Then you'll think that desire doesn't exist, or it's not for you, or God doesn't want you to have it, or you're waiting on God to get it. No, you're waiting because you're waiting. You're waiting because you are not willing to tell yourself that story from where you are because of where you are. Oh, I'm here. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. It's my fault. I've been here so long. Well, this is what happens to people like me. I've never had it. My family's never had it. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. But you'll never see who you can be as long as you're telling yourself you can't be. You're only going to see who you can't be because that's what you're saying. It's not just the words. The words matter because your words are powered by your consciousness, meaning your words, you're just using words to describe what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking until you tell me. So your words are not power in and of themselves. They're an expression of your power. Paint isn't power. You can put a whole bunch of paint in front of me. That is not going to make that painting look any good. I don't paint. It's not going to look, it's going to look like we're in kindergarten. You're going to be like, oh, that 5-year-old, who created that? You're going to be looking for a kindergartner. It was me. Right? Putting paint in front of me doesn't mean anything. Right? So putting a canvas in front of you doesn't mean anything if you're a painter. Right? So then I would have to grind. I would have to hustle. I have to work hard. I have to use discipline and willpower to try to create something that Picasso could create in 5 minutes. It's going to take me 5 days. And it's still going to be a hot mess because that's just not who I have chosen to be, right? So that is all grinding and all the effort it is. When you know who you are, your yoke is easy and your burden is light. It's like a stream flowing downhill. That's why it says my yoke is easy and my burden is light. You never heard Jesus, right? Which we understand as our higher mind, right? That is your human imagination in action. That is your Christ mind. I and my Father are one. Your physical expression, Jesus, the word made flesh, your physical expression and your awareness are one. You are not physically expressing anything you're not aware of. But a lot of times you don't know what you're aware of until you act it out. You don't realize, like, why did I do that? What does it say? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Who you're believing yourself to be, people call it a Freudian slip. It will come out. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Your awareness of being is not mocked. Whatever you tell yourself you are, be it unto you. God is not mocked. Your awareness is not mocked. You can't tell yourself, I'm sick, I don't got it, I can't have it, I can't afford it, people don't like me, and think that that's not what you're going to either create as an experience or why you're having the experiences you have. But then when you say it, you just think you're being real, not realizing that you are real. You're the only reality. The canvas isn't real. It's not real enough to paint its own painting, is it? Anybody ever see a hospital operate with no people in it? Anybody ever seen, like, it's not, you are reality. You are. Your business isn't reality. Your body isn't reality. You are reality. And you create real things because you are real itself. You are the only reality. Your kind in you is I am. It's not your physical body. That's what you're using to execute reality. I'm going to, so when you have an idea, I'm going to the store, you use your car to go to the store. Your car's not real, meaning it's not going to pull off without you. It's not going to go to the store without you. You're the one, you are life. And so that car doesn't move because it's not a living thing. Your body wouldn't move because it's not a living thing. So your body and your mind, your body and your eyes, your brain are not in control of anything, but managing what you give it. But they manage it according to who you are. They manage it according to who you are. So he's saying, if you want to live, you have to change. You have, what he's saying, you have to start seeing yourself as well now. You have to see yourself as well when you're sick. But you're only sick because you're expressing sickness because that is where your awareness is. So he said, it's only a change of consciousness. He didn't tell him to go start doing push-ups, jumping jacks. You need to take 50 things of medicine. He's already done all those things and none of it worked. The lady with the issue of blood in the Bible, right? She went on and on, went to all the physicians, and what they say, she spent up all her money and she still was worse off. It's not a punishment of your effort, but it's going to show you that your effort is not creative. It is expressive. It's only expressing who you're believing yourself to be. So if you want a new outcome, then you're going to have a new income. You're going to have to think new in here. This is where life is. Life is in the mind. That's why it says the universe is mental, all is mind. We're not talking about positive thinking. We're talking about everything you call good or bad in physical form was the reflection of a thought. It took the same thing to create that physical expression. So there is no good or bad, right or wrong. It takes the same energy. You just call it good or bad, right or wrong when you see it and you're like, I don't like this, then you call it bad. But it takes the same energy to create what you like and what you don't like. But like I said yesterday in our group call, and I've said this to a couple people in the group this week individually, we are born winners, trained to be losers. That's essentially what's happened. We are born winning. When you cut your finger, what happens after that? When you cut your finger, what starts happening after that?
It opens the sore and it starts to bleed.
And then what?
Healing.
Then it starts
Healing.
healing. It immediately starts to heal it. It looks like this, but it's already starting to heal, right? Vitamin K comes to start clotting it, right? And then it starts on this it starts the road back to, so which one is normal and natural? Is it to be hurt or is it to be well?
Wellness.
Wow. To be well.
To be well. So then why do we entertain? So then why is it flu season? See, look at what we entertain and wonder why we get what we get, because we don't know who we are. So we think the employees are in charge. And most of you on here are entrepreneurs. How's that going to work for you? It doesn't work. You are in charge. I am. I am is in charge. I am is the only God. I am consciousness. I am. Not the ego body. I am. I am made the body. So the body can't be in charge. The ego can't be in charge. The ego is a part of the body. The ego is a part of the brain. The ego is the part of your brain that keeps you as you are. It does not keep you safe, meaning it's a good idea who you are. It keeps you safe as in whoever you said you are, we are going to maintain that identity, come hell or high water. That's what stops you from being bipolar or schizophrenic. It's a fracturing of the ego. It's a fracturing of that part of your mind. But your ego is like a car seat. Whatever you put in it, you strap whatever's in there, a baby or some lemonade from Costco, right? It's gonna stay in there so that it doesn't move. So when you tell yourself I'm poor and you keep telling yourself that's what you've accepted for yourself, it doesn't matter what you do, it is going to make sure that that is your physical expression. Get a raise and then your car transmission go out. Get a new car and your tires go flat. It's going to find a way to express what you're thinking because you are the creator of reality. Reality is not independent of you. It's an expression of you. What humanity calls reality, physical expression, all things start in the mind. Everything that you see was first an idea. So then how is the expression more powerful than the dreamer? Right? That's what are you telling yourself? We're not aware of what we're telling ourselves so much because we've come out the gate, literally. We've come out of the womb thinking. We were thinking before we got in there. How many of you read to your children when they were in utero? What, you would have done that if they were dead? You would have done that if they couldn't hear? You would have done that if they weren't alive? They've been alive. You've been alive because you were alive before you got here. That's how you got here. You didn't just become alive in the womb. You were alive. That's how you got there. Did you become a driver when you got in the car? You had to be a driver before you got in the car. Put a 5-year-old in there and see if a body is good enough in a car. Put them behind the wheel. Who wants a carpool? Just being a body ain't gonna do it. Being 15, right? My daughter's 15. She can't drive me anywhere. I'm not going. I love myself enough to say no. I'm not going. Hey, love you, honey, but you're not like that yet, right? So just having a body doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't mean, now a couple months later, a year later, then we can do that, let's say. So it's not that it's that long, but it's that when you're not, you're not. When you're not wealthy, you're not. When you're not healthy, you're not. It doesn't have to take that long. It only takes you. It only takes, as Auntie Shaky says, a made up mind. But the mind we've made up is for all the things we don't want. So we're dying like that man in the bed. We're dying, but we're a good person. He's got a family, he's got kids, and he's about to die. This is not a moral or ethical thing. This is not a physical thing. It's just expressed physically. It's not a physical thing. Life is not a physical thing. It's an expression of life. Life is you. You are life. What does it say? I am the way. I am the truth. I am.
And there is no
The
other.
life.
The
I
light.
am the light.
I am the light. And Monique, what did you say?
And there is no other.
So if there is no other and you are the light, your life looks like.
What I say.
It looks like.
Help me, somebody.
The light.
It looks like.
Who you are?
It looks
The
like.
truth.
It looks like you. You know how you go in the mirror and you look at yourself? Are you surprised to see yourself? Well, look out your window. Look at your money. Look at your health. Look at your thing. That's your mirror. It's showing you what you look like in that area. It's showing what you've put on. It's showing you how you dressed yourself. That's why they say what? You hear people say this all the time in financial circles. All the time. They'll say, even if you took all the money away from rich people, it'd be back in 6 months. Right? Don't they say that? They're not on this call. This is not a spiritual thing. We're not on here trying to be spiritual. We're not on here trying to think positively. We're understanding how to think. Poverty is a state of mind. It's reflected physically. It's expressed physically, but it's not created physically. It's created mentally in your mind, in your awareness, how you put it on. That's why you wear it. That's why you see it. That's why you can give it'll be back. The money will be right back in the people who think about themselves a certain way. That's why it says what? To him who has, even more will be given. To him who has not, even what they have will be taken. It doesn't matter in what area that you say I don't have, even what you have, it will take from you because you're in the state of I am not. So it's going to keep removing that experience from you. Now, if you can say I'm never sick. Well, it's going to keep removing sickness from your experience. It's going to filter out sickness. Every time sickness comes, I'm going to be like, no, we're not that. We don't do that. So even if you try to come in, I'm going to take you out. Right? Even what I have, to him who has, even more will be given. Same thing. If you're poor and you keep thinking, if you say I'm poor, cool. More of that will be given to you. You'll find more ways to express poverty. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. There is no good or bad, right or wrong. There's only choices and their outcomes. We get into morals and ethics, and as a result of that, we don't make the best choices. Oh, I want my own business. Well, but I've never had one. I didn't go to school for that. I don't know what it's like to have a business. Well, none of my family's never had a business. Well, what is my husband going to say? What is my wife going to say? What are my kids going to say? I told them I was going to have a business before and they laughed at me. Or they told me, well, you can't do that. Or they told me, well, okay. Well, it stops you from making the choice that's best for you. I'm not talking about physically going out and doing it. You can't physically go out and do it before you're willing to entertain that you are that anyway. All you're going to do is get yourself in trouble at that point. Because you're physically out there trying to do something you're unwilling to see yourself as. And what you see is only because of who you be, what you're being, who you're being. How you describe things is only because of who you're being. Remember last week when I asked Sparkle Bailey and I said, hey, have you ever been with someone and you guys are walking down the street or you're somewhere and somebody tells a joke or you see something funny and you laugh and the person with you next to you doesn't laugh? Everybody remember that? Or some people remember that? Yeah. Well, then is the joke funny or not? Then your laughter or not laughing is based on you, not the joke. Because one of you can't laugh, another person, it's based on you, not the joke. It has nothing to do with the joke. The joke only triggers you as you are, or it doesn't trigger you as you are. The joke is neutral. Life is neutral. It's not out to get or help anyone because it's only the place where you express who you're being. The canvas doesn't help me paint better. Now, I know AI does a lot of stuff. They need to get an AI canvas for me then. I need to be able to wave my hand over it and create some magic. Because if I got to touch it, there ain't nothing magic happening. This is not happening. That's just not who I've chosen to be. So I don't paint. That doesn't mean I couldn't. I could assume myself to be a painter and start cracking. But I don't choose to use my stuff that way. I choose to use it in other ways. But you can choose anything. You've already chosen everything. You're choosing now. You chose to come here. You're going to choose when you get off. You're going to choose when you do the rest of your day. But you're so used to choosing, you don't even realize you're choosing. You think it's not a choice. It is a choice. But you've been making choices so long, you don't realize that it's a power. Remember when you probably can't. You probably can't even remember when you couldn't brush your teeth. But anybody who's had children, they can remember. That's what you used to look like too. When the toothpaste is everywhere but your mouth and your teeth, right? When the thing is up in their lip and it's like this, right? And you standing over them and you clapping like they doing something big, and they're like, "Look at me!" And there's no toothpaste on their teeth. Hasn't hit it yet, and you've been here for 3 minutes. Everywhere else, you look at your sink and it looks like a war. And it squeezed out. And if you let them try to do it on their own and you're not there, okay, squeeze the toothpaste out. You come back and where's the toothpaste? You'd be like, oh my God. Yeah, it looks like a crime scene. Toothpaste everywhere. And they're sitting there smiling. Look at me. Standing on a little step stool. Look at me. You can't even remember when that was you. But it was, right? So that's just where you started. That doesn't mean that's all you'll ever be. Where you are right now is just where you are. It's not all you can ever be. But if you're unwilling to keep brushing your teeth, if you're unwilling to tell yourself, I can do it, you're not. You're going to remain as you are That little kid on the step stool with toothpaste everywhere. Why? Because I didn't do this, or I'm not that, or I failed, or I this, or I that. How you talk to yourself is the most important thing. It's because who's talking? If you know who you are, how you speak to yourself is the most important thing, because who's talking? You worried about what your husband said, what your wife said, what your kids said. You will get offended when they say anything you don't like, but you'll call yourself stupid in a minute. You'll say, oh, that was dumb. Or you'll say, oh, I can't do it. Well, I can't afford it. Now, if somebody else said it to you, you'd be in court. Papers be filed before they even finish the last letter. Well, you can't do that. Girl, you need to stop dreaming. Your husband will be on the curb. Stuff packed. You'd be throwing stuff out the window. It'd be waiting to exhale up in your car, be on fire and everything. If he said to you what you said to yourself, you'd be out of your mind. But you have no problem saying it to yourself. So when people come to me and they say, hey, look, I got a list of all these problems. When I hear a list of all these problems, you know what I hear? These are all the things that you don't have for all the reasons that you're telling yourself you can't have it. So then you want to come to me to reinforce the list that you don't like. Yeah, girl, you're right. You are kind of dumb. Yeah, girl, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You didn't go to school. But you want me to tell you something different than what you're willing to tell yourself. You want me to pump you up to tell you something that you should be telling yourself. And so even if I were to do that, hey, have you ever seen, I remember when I was in high school, I got a jump on my car because my battery was dead. It just wasn't working. So they jumped it and I rolled. But if you don't keep that thing running, then I decided to go, I don't remember where I was going, and went like to 7-Eleven or something, came out, and guess what happened? Guess what happened?
You needed another jump.
Why? And why is that?
You turned off the car and the battery probably needs to be changed
Correct.
or recharged.
That's correct. So guess what Tony Robbins is? Guess what Les Brown is? Guess what Eric Thomas is? Right? Motivators. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just giving you an example so you can see it. So you feel charged up. But guess what? Guess what happens when AAA leaves? If you don't drive that car long enough and you think you're going to stop, your batteries, you're going to go right back to where you were before you went to the convention for 2 weeks and you had your button on and you're taking your pictures with your girlfriends, you're taking your pictures with your homies, and it's life changing. I'll never be the same. It's Saturday and Sunday and you out there all day and you clapping and sweating and running up and down and you're a changer and you're a life changer and everything. And come Tuesday morning, you get ready to start that car up. Guess what? Good old Tuesday is back. And your car battery don't even start. Your car battery act like it's never even had the weekend. It's never heard Tony Robbins before. Who is that? Because motivation only lasts so long. A car battery needs the same thing you do, inspiration. That means to breathe life from within. It needs to be self-starting. That's the only way you can maintain it. Anybody can jump you. Anybody can motivate you, get you pumped up, sweating. Everything. You hype, higher than a satellite. You got adrenaline, boy. You couldn't even find a drug to make you that high. You just pumped up. But what comes on Tuesday? Hey, I'm shaking. How's it going? You're like, Tuesday comes because you're not inspired. See, here I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to inspire you. What I mean by that is the things I tell you, I'm telling you the best thing you've ever heard. Why? Because no matter what I say, the whole point of it is for you to listen to what I say and take a look at yourself and say, is that true? Is it not? Do I know it? Do I not? Do I agree? Do I not? All that's up to you. You don't have to take a word I say as truth, but because the whole point is to get you to look at yourself as the truth. And to say, what am I telling myself? Okay, I don't believe anything he said, but what am I telling myself? Everything he said was wrong, but at least you made a choice. At least you got to hear it and you made a choice. We're not consciously making choices. We're allowing and accepting anything. We're not making choices. The only choices we're making is to effort. Well, I'm going to work hard. Well, why don't you think better? No, you don't want to think better. You just want to work hard. You don't want to tell yourself, I always have more than enough. You just want to get a fifth job. You don't want to tell yourself, you don't want to discipline yourself. You just want to grind yourself. Discipline means to teach. It doesn't mean to force. It doesn't mean that you got to wake up every day and make it happen. Discipline means to teach. It comes from the word disciple. That's why Jesus had disciples. Jesus didn't have them grinding. Jesus was teaching them how to think so they could go off and pop off like he does. That's why he said, our Father. There isn't none of, we're not bastards. Everybody got the same Father. It's called I am. Everybody got the same one. But you think it would say, well, but we all have a different concept of who we think that is. That's why it says in the book, and my God shall supply all your need. My God is different from your God. My God says, sure, you always got more than enough. Everything you set your hand prospers. Everything you set your hand to prospers. Your God says, you know what? Wait on me. You know, I don't really know because your credit ain't really, I'm not really. Oh, you know, remember I told you to go to college. I told you, and look at you now. That's half of your God. The God you praising is beating your thing, tearing you up. And so you up in there crying, begging, whining, sweating. You're doing everything you can to appease something. That's not a, everybody has their own God, meaning their own awareness of who they think they are. That's the one that's talking. That's the one that's listening. That's why your inner conversation is the most important conversation you're having. What are you telling yourself? Oh, we can get on here. Praise the Lord. God is good. Hallelujah. Everything. You can get on here and get yourself all pumped up. Yeah, somebody that started the car for you. But somebody got to keep this thing running. See, Tuesday, you got to keep it running. Tuesday morning, right? When you're in the Uber on the way and you're like, man, I'm either make it or I'm not. I got to make a choice. Right? So speaking of that, let's do a couple things so you stop hearing from me. First up, Sarita, get yourself together because you coming. Monique, you're probably coming. And we're going to start off with good old Auntie Shaky. Let's go off into the Uber ride. Let everybody hear the Uber ride scenario. And then you can see whether you need motivation or whether you're inspired, whether you can crack when it's time to crack on your own. Auntie Shaky, go ahead, take the floor and hurry up because I need to get back.
Okay, I'll hurry up. Yesterday, I'm traveling from Atlanta to Chicago. I'm traveling with my grandbaby, my husband and I, and we're running late. Nobody's fault, just we're running late. It is what it is, okay? And so we call an Uber, and I get into the Uber, and the lady takes the street, like she's taking the street. And I'm like, lady, I am late. I need you to, you know what I'm saying, go faster. And so she says, I know this area. I promise you, you know, this is faster. Okay, cool. I am highly annoyed, extremely annoyed because I have to be at the airport. We're already late. I don't know if I'm going to make my flight. And so so the anxiety is on me so strong. I'm typing in the U group, telling them how annoyed I am because I don't like this feeling that I'm feeling. Okay. I send my husband a text. I'm like, honey, tell me something good. Cause like literally I'm about to go crazy. Okay. Anyway, so I get my mind right. And I said, you know what? I'm acting like somebody that does not have control over this situation. I'm acting like I'm not a person that can literally park the traffic and make a straight way for me to get to the airport on time. I am acting like I am a person that is completely powerless. So I got my mind together and I just started, I just let it go. The anxiety was gone. It was whatever. We showed up at the airport 10 minutes, like 10 minutes faster than the GPS said. We made our flight, obviously, with a little bit, just a little bit, with a little bit of time to spare. But that's my story. That's my story. It was together.
All right, good. Let's see. Who do I want to call next? Monique, you're next. All right, but Auntie Shaky said something. There was a word in there she said that I want you to catch because this makes you think it's true, but it's not. But it is true while you're doing it. There's a word she used. There's one word. And you know me, I'm as vague as I can be because I want you to think. I want you to learn how to tie things together. And all of her story, she said one word. As soon as she said it to me the first time, when she told us the story in the group, it stood out like like the sun in August, stood out. There's one word she put in that whole story that reflected her story to me. What word is that?
Is it acting?
Acting. You ever seen a good actor? Don't you? When you watch Denzel or you watch Viola Davis, when you're in that movie, you know the movie is fake. But in that 2 hours, don't you forget? Doesn't it really seem like it's really them? Like this is really a real thing? Acting. You're acting like something. But your acting is what makes it true. That's what makes the experience true. She was on her way to probably missing her flight or close to it because she was acting like the person who would miss a flight. Guess what acting is called? Faith. That's what acting is. She had faith that she was going to miss her flight. She was really believing that. She was like, I'm in trouble. This is not going to work out. Now, she had no proof of that, but didn't she believe it? She didn't miss, the plane wasn't gone, did she? She didn't know what the road was like 2 miles down but she believed it from where she stood. She had no proof. She had no experience that it was true yet. It's not after the fact she's talking. She's creating the fact while she's talking. That's what you have to understand faith is. It's the creation of a fact while you're talking. You have no proof of the end except your belief that this is what the end is going to be. But didn't it cause anxiety? Didn't it cause physical expression? Didn't it cause her to feel a certain way? So then why do you think faith doesn't cause action? Why do you think faith doesn't make you move? But it makes you move under its own spell, under what you're believing. You're always moving under what you're believing. So she was on her way to moving to the airport, watching with her grandbaby. Hey, look, there's our flight leaving. She was on her way until she, according to for Suzanne, until she changed who she was. She went from I am powerless to I am powerful and got there 10 minutes earlier. But she's an actress in either one. So being an actress is not the issue. Having faith is involuntary because she was believing something, wasn't she? So we act like because faith is people use it religiously, like it's voluntary. We act like we're not believing things to be true before we see it all the time. But we do it all the time. That's why we're giving these. I want you to see what faith looks like on Tuesday and Auntie James Gates on Friday. That's what faith was. I'm sitting here, I'm going to miss my plane. And because of that, because of who I think I'm powerless. Because I think I'm powerless, I'm going to believe this. And because I'm going to believe it, I'm going to act it out. And because I act it out, that's exactly what I'm going to see. That is the process of everything. So instead of thinking you have to recreate the process, you don't. All you do is say, oh, I'm just saying I'm not. I am. Because I am, I have faith. That determines my action. That determines my outcome. I am going to say what it is before it is. Because I am not seeing what it is. I'm creating what it is. You're creating in motion. You're always choosing. Everything already exists. It's like those books, You Choose Your Own Adventure. All you're doing is if you choose page 37, go over here. If you choose page 42, go over there. Remember those old Create Your Own Adventure books? Yes. But who's the one that turned the page? Who's the one that chose which one you went on? Right, you did that. The book didn't make you do it. The book didn't say, hey, you better. You'll be like, what is going on? Right. You'd be throwing that book, running out the house. Right? You chose that. But we're choosing all the time so much. And for so long, we think we're not choosing. So she went from, I'm about to miss my plane. She's created that experience. But if you don't know better, you'll think it was because you were late. You'll think it was because the lady took the street. No, you were late because that's who you are. She took the street to make sure that you got what you are. Don't you want to get who you are? Well, you present your ID at the bank to get your money, don't you? Well, if you present the ID of late, you're going to get in the Uber car with the lady who's going to take the street to make sure that you get who you are. But when you realize who you are, it don't matter what car you get in. You be like, I'm always on time. I'm always early. This is easy work. I can walk backwards through the airport and still be 30 minutes early. Take off without me is not even an option. What are we talking about? Right? But you're choosing before anything's happened. So then what happens? because of what you chose. So then reality isn't the outcome. Fate, destiny isn't inevitable. It's inevitable based on what you've created. If you cook some pancakes and ate them, was that fate or destiny? Who chose to cook the pancakes? It's inevitable. Isn't that what you cooked them for? So when you are not going to make the plane and you don't make it, that's inevitable. That ain't fate or destiny. You created it in motion. Creation is finished, but you never stop creating. Creation is finished, but you never stop creating via selection. What you're telling yourself. All right, Monique, we're going to talk about the summer program.
So, I run a daycare and I have staff. So, it's January, mind you, mid-January, right after a snowstorm. And I'm like, shoot, I'm running short for payroll. How am I gonna pay staff? So I'm sitting here with my brain, my regular brain, thinking, okay, what can I do to make payroll? And I couldn't come up with anything. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just not gonna worry about it. So I sat here. This is my favorite spot. I call it my thinking chair. And I heard send an email to parents for summer camp. And I'm fighting my own self. It's January. Ain't nobody think about summer camp. They worried about what they're gonna do with all this snow. Then I heard it again. Send an email to parents for summer camp. Okay, so fine. So I sent an email. And in less than an hour, 3 parents responded that they wanted to put their kids with me for the summer. Not only did they respond, but they paid in full for the whole summer. And that was in less than an hour in January. My mind was blown. Like, who's thinking about summer camp in January? That was crazy.
Right? So to Suzanne, back to you again. Right? Your brain, you're an employee, as Sarita and I love to call it, will tell you that's not going to work. We'll tell you what, your brain will try to fight you, which is the mind. See, your mind is omniscient. That is consciousness, right? Your conscious uses the mind. It's omniscient. It knows where everything is. It knows who everything is. It knows everything. It's omniscient. And it's also omnipotent. Not only does it know everything, it's all powerful. So it has the capability to do anything it knows. That's what Jesus is defined as in the New Testament, the power and the wisdom of God. The word made flesh, the power and the wisdom of God, right? You are the power and the wisdom of consciousness. Your awareness is powerful and wise, and it knows how to express itself in every way possible. And a snowstorm can get something to be done in a way that your brain, the employee, doesn't know how to think. Your brain, the employee, is limited. You hired it, it didn't hire you. Your brain works for you. You do not work for your brain. Your brain will be the same one to tell you, I don't feel like going to work today. And you'll be like, yeah. And then you don't go to work. Then Friday comes and your check is a day short. And your brain then will be the same one to stress you out. What are we going to do about money? The same one that told you don't go into work will be the same one stressing you for being a day short on your check. The same one that told you to, curse your husband out and give him a piece of your mind. And then when you're sitting there and you come home and the hangers are swinging, will be the same one to say, well, now what? The same thing that gets you in trouble will be the same one stressing you over the trouble that it got you in. Right? So you see Monique, and just in 2 examples, you see Monique and Auntie Shaky have to set their brain aside because in your brain will tell you it's illogical to think what you're thinking. How are you going to get to the airport on time, much less 10 minutes earlier? Is your brain going to believe that? Is that what you think it's going to tell you? It's going to tell you, look at the thing, look at it, look at this, look what it says, and look what it says. You're going to get there at 12:10. You're supposed to be at the airport at 11:40. Now, how's that going to work? Oh, man, we're going to miss the flight. Oh, if you don't know who you are, okay, hold on. You work for me. I'm not about to be sitting here and let you miss my plane. Because then you're going to stress me out about missing the plane. Well, then now we missed the plane. What we going to do now? You got your granddaughter here, your husband looking at you sideways. Where's your positive thinking now? Where's it? Yeah, but you stopped creating. You were a magician, started half of the trick and walked off the stage and wonder why nobody's applauding. You did that to you. No, you create all the way through. This is what I said. I'm getting to the airport. I'm getting on this flight. I'm getting late. What do you mean? God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. God is on time early too. Which one of those do I want to be? God is omnipresent, past, present, and future. So how can God be late if God is early? God is everywhere. So you know what I'm doing? Auntie Shaky, we're DVRing. Which one of these scenes do I want to see? Do I want to rewind it and be late, or do I want to fast forward it and be ahead? You know what? So what'd you do? By calming down, you fast forward and went ahead, and now you're 10 minutes earlier than what the navigation said. That reality existed. But what we tell ourselves doesn't change the reality. It chooses the one we experience. Because all realities already exist. That 10 minutes was always available to you, and you would have it up if you would not have changed your mind. Yeah, I said it that way. Sometimes I gotta pop off and let you know that we're not playing up here. This is not positive thinking. This is not something to feel better about, feeling bad about. This is Tuesday action. What are you gonna do? What you gonna do now? Oh yeah, you go to Mindset Saturdays. Oh, you go here to this group. You go here to that group. Well, yeah. Now we're almost late to the airport. What are you gonna do now? See, this is really where your light shines, and whether you're the salt of the earth pops off or not. This is whether you're really the house on the hill that cannot be hid. Yeah, you can't hide now. Yeah, you either her or you not. And all that stuff you do during the week, don't nobody care nothing about till it's time to pop off. Till it's time to do. You show me something that I can't do. Why do you think Jesus did? Who would have cared about Jesus if you couldn't walk on the water? If you got the same problems I got? Hey, Jesus, we hungry, and there's a whole lot of people out here. We'll feed them. Well, we can't do that. Yeah, that's why you're the disciple and I'm Christ. Because I'm about to pop this same bread off. And now everybody ate, and we got stuff left over. You couldn't feed them with what you got. I fed them with the same stuff you got. I fed them, and there's leftover. Yeah, the grandbaby and the husband would have missed the flight. Auntie Shaky's the one that made the flight, and everybody that's with her makes the flight. Everybody that's with you makes it. Everybody should be better because you're around. What does it say? Don't you know that you're the salt of the earth, the candle that lights up the whole house, and the house on the hill that cannot be hid? Don't you know that's who you are? Everybody can talk that talk until it's time to really start talking. Until you on that street, until it's time to make payroll, until it's time to do some things. Now what you gonna do? Because everybody waiting to see what you gonna do. Oh, praise the Lord. God is good. Oh, yeah. Oh, I voted. I got the pen on it to show you. Oh, I went to church yesterday. Look, everybody, I took a picture out the front. And look at my hat. Yeah, that's my Mother's Day hat. And everybody got their finest threads on Sunday. And Tuesday, you back there looking indigent. Out there looking broke as you can be. Looking ashy, dusty, crusty, and busted. What happened then? Where did Saturday go? Nobody cared about people were laughing that you show up on Saturday. What kind of fool are you to waste your time and not do it on Tuesday? This ain't no summer camp. This is not still a place where everybody's coming together we come here to remember who we are. Because guess what? Yesterday, Auntie Shaky needed it. Monique that other month, she needed it. But didn't it show up? Didn't it show up? But guess what? You have to show up. You. That is you. That is the power that's within you. It's available to you right now. Not later, not tomorrow. I'm not out here yelling and screaming like some kind of old Baptist preacher in the South. I'm not on here trying to motivate you. I'm on here to inspire you so that you take what I'm saying and look at yourself and say, where am I missing this? Why am I missing this? I can make this plane easy. I can make this payroll easy. And because the next time it comes up, you'll be like, yeah, the next situation goes, yeah, no, I know who I am this time. Late, we ain't late. Everything is perfect. Everything is always working out for me. I get there early because I'm omnipresent, so I'm DVRing it. I'm gonna fast forward to the scene where I'm 10 minutes early. That's what I'm gonna do. There's no reason for me to be running to a plane that I'm 10 minutes early to. So let me just pick the me that's 10 minutes early. Your brain will say, how? And you say, well, because of who I am. How this works is because of who I am. Once you decide who you are, the how it works comes out. The how always follows the who. When you know what you're doing, the how always follows the who. When you don't, you put the how before the who, and so it stops the who from ever being something different. I'm going to start my own business. What's the first question people ask? What's the first thing they ask?
How?
How you gonna do that, Sway?
How you gonna do that?
How? And so then when people ask you how, let's be honest, when people ask you how, what do most people do then? The person who's asked how, what do they do?
So you
They
can't
start
do that.
making up some stuff.
Yeah. Which leads to what?
Doubt.
Which leads
You
to what?
disbanding your good idea.
Confusion.
Say it again.
I say you disbanding your good idea. You lose confidence in yourself.
Right. So that's correct. So your idea, which is creative, everything you see was first an idea. Everything. The ring on your finger, your favorite thinking chair, the clothes you have on, the glasses you have on, the computer you're watching was first an idea. So if you abandon the idea, you abandon the outcome. And when they ask you how, and you don't have an answer, and you abandon the idea, guess what? You turn into remain a pillar of salt. You remain as you are. And then you'll say, well, God didn't want it for me. God is I am. I am is the one that gave you the idea. So Auntie Shaky in her maturity has her grandbaby on her lap, and her grandbaby wants to crack her, and Auntie Shaky's there going like this. See how stupid and immature that would be? Why would you do that to something that's relying on you? So you mean to tell me I am gave you an idea, and then Auntie Shaky or Karen says, oh, I want that. And it goes, no, psych your mind. Remember that? Psych your mind.
The psych your mind, your booty shine.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, see, look. It goes right. I lived, growing up. I grew up in California. We didn't grow up anywhere near each other, and we know the same thing. Think of it, right? We didn't grow up anywhere near each other, and we both know it's flu season. We both know, well, money don't grow on trees. Think of how many things we know, and we don't even grow up around each other. How many things are passed off, thing to thing to thing, person to person to person, generation to generation, state to state. It doesn't have to be that way. You are I am. You are the creator. Creation is finished, but you're always creating. You're always selecting from things you created. When the grocery store is finished, creation's finished, but you create what's in your cart by selection. You walk out of there with a cart based on your creation, all the things you selected from everything that was already created. You keep trying to fight what is instead of picking what you want. This is not a fight. You keep fighting to try to make something better instead of just choosing something better. You would rather use your behind instead of your mind. And then you wonder why your behind flat. Because you done ground it off. You done ground it up. You done put it through the little cheese grater. My mom used to make us do the little grating for the cheese when she made tacos. And you done ground that big old thing, went like that. And before you know it, you cutting your hand. You done ground it down. You done wore it out. You become weary in well-doing. Why do you think you're tired? Why do you think you're frustrated? Why do you think you're overwhelmed? Why do you think you're exhausted? Why do you think you can't take another step? You can't go no more. Why do you think that is? Because you are fighting yourself, and that's a fight that never turns off. So you can close the door of your business, but you can't close your mind. You can slam the door on your husband or your kids, but you in there with you. You in there with you. And that's the part of you that's really tearing you up. Oh, they'll be snoring mouth wide open, and you sitting there, your eyes wide open, ain't sleep, and they snoring right next to you. Because you got a problem. They don't. You have to focus on you. You have to lock in on yourself. Who am I? What am I? You're so worried about everything else and everyone else. That's why you can't win. You're giving your power away to everything. I say this all the time. You don't realize how many gods you have. You've made everything a god. You've made your bank account a god. You made your spouse a god. You made your kids a god. You've made your job a god. You made weather a god. You made COVID a god. You've made tariffs a god. You've made Republicans or Democrats a god. You've made everything a god. What does that mean? You have attributed your outcome to them. If they do something wrong, your life is wrong. If they do something bad, you bad. If they can't do it, you can't do it. If they tell you can't do it, you can't do it. If it looks like it's raining out there, oh, well, I guess it's over for me. But Jesus said, told the winds and waves, peace, be still. Yeah, no, I'm him. No, I know you guys thought I was just walking the water a little bit, but now when these winds and waves come up that you gonna drown by, because you said we're surely gonna drown. Remember that? They woke him up out of the boat. We are surely gonna drown. And he wake up and was like, man, what are you talking? Haven't you seen your boy? Haven't you seen me, God? Has anybody been watching me? Hey, man, you guys knock that off. You scaring these nice church folk. You scaring these nice people here. You guys, come on, man, knock that off. Knock that off. But guess what? You have to have that same, you have to have that, you know, they say keep that same energy. Oh, it's nice when you're walking on water and turning water into wine. But what happens when the waves come up? What happens when the winds start blowing? You still got to be her then. You still got to be him then. Hey, man, sit down. What I tell you to do? We're not doing that up here, man. Now, if they want to drown, that's their own reality, but I'm not. And nobody around me going to drown because I don't want them to be wet and I don't want to be wet. I don't want to be wet personally, and I don't want them wet because they're going to be complaining when they wet. And we still about to go out here and talk to all these people. So they're going to be wet, and they still going to do this job that we doing. We got people to disciple. We out here ministering. So I don't want them ministering wet because then they're going to be complaining and crying. And I don't want my outfit wet. So guess what? Sit down, man. Go on somewhere with that. That wind and that wave, I created you. You didn't create me. So you're not going to come up here and do nothing to me. You created your brain and your eyes. That can't do nothing to you. Your eyes don't even see. You see through your eyes. Your windshield don't see. You see through your windshield. Your eyes don't see. You see through your eyes. You use your brain. Just like you use your brain just like you see somebody operating a tractor. You use that thing. That thing may feel big, it ain't. You're the operator of that. You're bigger than it. How can it be bigger than you when you created it? It didn't create you. Anybody's brain ever create them? No. Anybody's eyes ever? No. 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 So you don't give credit. There is no God but you. I am, and there is no other. I am is the only God. Your awareness of being is the only and sole supreme authority of your experience. It's what creates it. It's how you define it. How do we know? How did she get there 10 minutes early? Did she take the wheel? Did she curse the lady out and be like, if you don't get here, I'm going to bust you in the back of your head? Did she take the wheel and start fast and furiousing onto the, like, what are you going to do except think? And once you know that's the only thing you have to do, that's all you start doing. You're like, I don't have to get myself excited. But she remembered. Monique was reminded, hey, I need to do this or that. Oh, okay, whatever you desire when you pray, believe you have received it and you will. Salvation, another word for salvation is solution. You are the solution. You are the answer. The answer is within you. That's why everything I tell you is perfect, because it makes you look at you. It's not about you. You don't have to accept anything I say ever, because my whole point is not for you to do that. My whole point is for me to talk to you in a way where you got to think about yourself. You got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, am I really like that? Am I really her? Am I really like that on Tuesday or on when I'm on the way to the airport and this is important? The more important it is, the more people panic and forget who they are. See, only your brain will make you think. See, the same thing, Auntie Shake, the same thing that told you you couldn't do it is the same thing that'll tell you, well, you only do it for the big stuff. Well, which one is it? First of all, you told me I couldn't do it. Now you're saying it's only for the big stuff. See, your brain, if you listen to it, if you're not in control of your employee will tell you all kind of stuff. How come you didn't come to work yesterday? Oh, girl, my reception was out. What's that got to do with you coming to work? It'll tell you anything. Well, I got to fight with my girlfriend. What's that got to do with you coming to work? Well, it was raining outside. What's that got to do with it? Your brain will tell you anything. And if you go for it, you'll suffer from it. You are in charge of your brain. It's not in charge of you. You're in charge. So then your brain will tell you, first of all, you can't do it. Then it'll tell you, yeah, you did it, but it was just this one time. Then it'll tell you, oh, well, you did it, but you only do it for big things. Who's making these distinctions? Is it I am, or is it the brain? My brain can't tell me anything about anything, because anything it does tell me, I'm the one that gave it the information. Did my brain know 2 + 2 is 4? No, I told it 2 + 2 is 4 and trained it to repeat it. So then why am I listening to something that needs me? I am before the brain. I am above all and before all. Don't ever put things you created and start worshiping them. That is idolatry. You created the brain. You don't worship the brain. I mean, most of us are parents. Just imagine how crazy this would look. Karen, If you walked in, you know, to your son's apartment one day, right? To your son's place, and he had a picture of you with some incense, and he was on his knees going like this, like, "Oh, mom," what would you say?
Let's make that call so they can come get him.
I know they call it a straitjacket. I know it's a little tight, but we're gonna loosen it when where we need to be. Would you want your children praising you like that? No, you want them to love you, but not praise you. That's not, because that's not how it's supposed to be. Yes, well, it's the same. Why are you praising things you shouldn't be praising? Why are you worshiping the economy? Why are you worshiping the weather? Why are you worshiping the thing that you created? In the beginning was God, and God created the heavens and the earth. So that everything, the heavens, the earth, and everything, and everyone, and everything in it and on it, God created. So do you mean to tell me that God is afraid of the thing he created? The wind is coming. What are we talking about here? I'm surely going to die from the thing I created? What? I feel like Cat Williams right now. What? You created these things and you're worshiping the thing you created. Why do you think the order is off? Why do you think you can't get anything from it? Right? You are the creator. There is no other. There is no other. You're the one that made that flight. You determine whether you made that flight or not. You determine whether you made payroll or not. You determine whether they are what you want them to be and better. You determine what your relationship to that thing or that person is. You do that. That's why you are the creator of your reality. You are. Reality doesn't create itself. Did the heavens and the earth create themselves? So did humanity create itself? So then, and we were before it, which means we don't need it to be us. Which means then I, as me, am going to use this thing as I created to express myself, not to worship it. The order of operations are off. That thing that you're worshiping, your boss, your job, the economy, can't help you. And it can't hurt you. But you will use it to help you or hurt you based on who you are. You use it. Fire can't hurt you or help you, but you'll use it to hurt or help yourself based on your awareness, right? A 3-year-old, we're like, oh God, get the matches, somebody, please. A 23-year-old, he's like, hey, go get those matches for me and strike up and put the incense on or put the candle on, whatever. Same fire, different level of maturity. Fire didn't hurt or help. It hurts or helps based on your maturity or lack of, based on your awareness or lack of. Your brain will tell you you can't do it. Then it'll tell you only do it for big things. Then it'll tell you what's not going to work next time. It's like, look, man, let's knock this off. Okay, I am all that is. I'm all that is. I'm all there is. There is no other. I am the best. I am the greatest. Everything I said in my hand. Like, let's just knock this off. Let's stop playing these games. Let's stop acting like I'm not that. I am that. Yeah, let's just stop acting. You're acting like you don't have it. You're acting like you can't. That's not the truth. The truth is we always win. That's all we do is win. But we've been conditioned to believe that we're not that. So now we're always trying to chase what we already are. So that's a great example. That's why I call it. It's a great example. Because all Auntie Shaky could do in that moment, was choose to be the one that is. Choose to be her own. She was her own salvation. What, did she go to the church? Did she tithe? Well, not connotatively, but denotatively she did. She tithed. She decided to say to herself, I am this. She put her brain on the right side. She took the logical brain, she took logic and converted it into faith, converted it into whatever I tell myself is true, whatever I'm willing to assume, meaning whatever I'm willing to tell myself, whatever I'm willing to believe before I have proof, that will be shown to me. So I'm going to tithe. I'm going to take this logic, this 10% of my brain, I'm going to take that 10% and I'm going to move it over to the assumption side, to the ability to assume that I am this thing. That's tithing. Now you have 100%. And what did it do? Opened up the windows of heaven and poured you out a blessing you have not room enough to receive. Got there 10 minutes earlier. That's tithing. Real time in the back of an Uber with some lady you don't know. That's tithing. That's what tithing actually is. People have told you it is this or that, but that's why I showed you, for those of you who've been here for a while, that's why I showed you when Creflo Dollar said, I've made a mistake. I'm not bashing it. That's not, but I showed you, it's not just me saying this. I made a mistake. Throw away everything I've ever said. He said that, not me. So I'm not bashing him at all, but he did say that because that's not ever what tithing is. Tithing is not a financial transaction. It is a mental transaction. It's a mental transaction. It is giving that 10% of your brain away like Monique had to do. Because what? Her brain wanted to keep that 10%. Her brain was like, man, it is I just shoveled this. It's out there. And you want to talk about summer? I just asked to make payroll. I didn't ask for no, yeah, but just do the summer. But what is it, right? Is your 10% of your brain hanging on like Tom Cruise on an action movie, like Indiana Jones, trying to hang on to this thing? But it's like, look, if you hang on to that, you're going to die. You're going to miss your flight. You are not going to make payroll. That's going to happen to you. But if you listen to what I tell you, if you just be you, I got all the ideas. I know how to get this off. This ain't nothing to me. This is something to you because you forgot who you were. You know, your kids go somewhere with you and they're young and you go up in the Ross and they forgot who they are. And they start touching stuff and you hit them with that look like, please don't make me have to leave this store right now. Please, my God, please. I haven't even warmed up yet. Please don't make me have to, please don't make me have to, please. I just got here and there's a sale and everything, right? Yeah, right. When it forgot who it is, look how it acts. When you forget who you are, look how you act. You're only acting that way because you forgot who you are. When you remember who you are, you act different. It's not an effort. It's just a reflection. It just, when you turn on the faucet, the water comes out. It's not an effort. You just, nobody's like, wow, look at that, right? It seems logical. I turned on, I'm making this flight. Came out. I turned on, I'm making payroll. Came out. Does anybody sit there and look at the thing and be like, I wonder where the water's coming from? I wonder how. No, you just happy the water came out, right? Why does it matter how you got the answer? You got the answer, right? You're in Chicago, right? You made payroll, right? Your health is better, right? What are we doing? What are we doing? But from where we are, Leanne, you're up next. We're talking about the house.
You want me to tell my story of the house?
Isn't that what I said? Yes. Yes.
Okay. 6 years ago, I came over to visit a friend at his acreage that I'd never been to. And when I walked in the house for the first time, I was like, oh my God, this is the house I've been dreaming of for years. It was in the back of my mind what I wanted my dream house to be. And I said to myself, someday this house will be mine. And my brain right away was like, girl, you're crazy. That house is $1 million. And who do you think you are? And all the things. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. I didn't really tell anybody that I was thinking I was going to have this house because they would have told me I was crazy. And I just kept telling myself, it will be mine. I don't know how, but it will be mine. And I started having conversations with my family eventually. And one day I had a conversation with my mom and, you know, maybe she wanted to move back to be closer to the family. And all of these things just started to work out and kind of fall in line to getting the house. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And 1 year later, I was talking with the owner of the house and we just started making a plan. Okay, yeah, you can buy the house. Maybe you can rent it for a year and then buy it after that. And I was nervous the whole time, but I decided this house will be mine. And all of the ways just started to show up. And after that 1 year, we moved into the house. And business started exploding and all of the things that I couldn't make it up. It just started happening because I decided that house will be mine. And I trusted that everything will work out because everything works out for me. And now we've been in the house for 6 years. And that first year of moving into the house, it was a big payment that we weren't used to making. Somehow we made it happen to move in. But after we moved in, we started struggling a little bit, like, holy crap, the expenses were a lot more than what we were used to. And I said to my husband, I don't know how we're going to make this work, but I ain't leaving. I am not leaving the house. And again, I decided like they were going to have to drag me out of the house because I was not leaving. And fast forward to present day, my business exploded. Everything just started working out around me. And now we make probably 20 times the income we did when we first started because of the decision that I knew I would have what I wanted. And somehow there's got to be a way. And I just trusted that it would work out. And it did. There's power in your decision. Power, a lot of power.
I always tell everybody that each one of you, that's in the group or, people that I work with, everybody's different. And so Auntie Shaky, her and I have our own thing. And we talk more like this. Like Karen and I are literally the opposite in the sense that we're more like two friends sitting on like a porch, just laughing and talking calmly. And we just exchange information back and forth. It is just wonderful. And so everybody's different. And Leanne's thing is decision and trust. Like she's good at that. Like she was like, okay, I'm going to decide something and I'm going to trust myself, my decision. And she's good at that. Everybody's good at the same subject differently. They come at it from a different way to get into the house and they all ride. And so she's good at that. And so I have her and I've had several of you telling your stories, because I want you to see how this works on Tuesday. Like, because you made a decision, but then your brain backs up for a minute and then it comes back around the other side. Like, what you gonna do now? You got in the house, but guess what? Light bill's now $500 instead of $150, right? Water bill's now $750 instead of $250. Oh yeah. Gardner, that's $500 a month instead of $150, right? Because so then your mind is back, and it's back like it's the first time. It's back like it was like, well, wait a minute, you told me I couldn't even get this, but it'll talk to you like it never said that. No, but this is the real time. Now I really mean that you can't do it. Right. And you have to stay faithful to that decision. Just like you stay faithful to the decision in any relationship you have. You're sick because you stayed faithful to the decision, to create it, to experience it, and you will keep it as long as you're faithful to it. Because every physical experience is nothing but a physical expression of your faithfulness to the idea, to the concept of it. So whatever you are willing to say and stick with, that is your faith that's being unto you. Right? And your brain will tell you, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. How can I not do it if I'm in here? Then it'll talk to you like, well, but it was just luck. But you told me I couldn't do it at all. So which part should I be listening to? The answer is none of it. None of it. None of it. But you have to learn that your brain is your employee. You don't work for it. It works for you. This is the way it is. Why should I listen to you? I'm not mad. I understand you're only telling me, you're saying that there's no blouses left in the back. We're out. I understand that, but I'm telling you that I ordered more and they're coming. I understand why you think we're out, because you only think things are true when they arrive at the store. I know they're true because I ordered them. I'm the owner. So what the owner and the employer think, or an employee or think is true, are different things. And it's okay for the employee to say we're out. That's okay, because you are out in your world. But I ordered, so I know that these blouses are coming. I know they're on the way. So I can say we have them. I understand why you would say we don't. But I also understand that well enough to not listen to you. Because if I listen to you, then we'll never have any blouses. Because you only count things when they come, but you don't order. So I'll be waiting forever because you're never going to order because you don't see them. Only the owner can order. Only the one that has the vision can order. The one who uses sight only waits to see. But what you're waiting to see had to be ordered by the owner who uses vision. So you have to walk by vision. You're in vision. You're imagining. You have to walk by as the owner. I make the choices, and my physical world will see it when it's done. But I'm not going to let my physical world tell me anything, because the physical world, even if you said, okay, the physical world doesn't order. The employees don't order your product. So how are you ever going to have a new supply waiting on them? Your brain doesn't order. Only the owner orders. The employees manage what was ordered. So the brain, your eyes, your physical world is managing what you order as the owner. You're not the employee. You're the owner. You are the creator. And so that's why you cannot allow your physical world or the senses in your physical world to define you, to tell you what is real, true, and possible, because it doesn't have the ability to order. So it will never change the experience you're having. It doesn't order. So Leanne would have been in that same house she was in. But if it were never, if Jackie would have missed her flight, but she made her flight. So then making her flight was always possible. Who did you choose? She said, I'm not leaving. You have to drag me out of here. She said, you know what? I'm going to take my hands off and it's all good. Got there 10 minutes early. Monique said, I'm going to listen. The brain will fight you. This is stupid. What's wrong with you? You're insane. Oh, but how insane are you if you made payroll? Now what? I'm insane, but it worked. So do I want to be insane with it working or sane without it working? I'll go insane then. How about that? Let's call me crazy as you can get, as long as I get what I want. Call me what you like. As long as I have my experience, I don't care what you call me, because I got what I wanted, right? And now 6 years later, she's still there. So then that means the idea is wonderful and the outcome is even better. And if the idea that you could be in there is true, then you're not going to be thrown out unless you start telling yourself something different than what it took to get you in. Right? You made payroll. Did it ever come back 2 weeks later like maybe you didn't make it? Right? And so what I'm saying is the I am that gets you in is never going to all of a sudden become I am that messed it up. In that sense, it's not going to abandon you. Well, I just said to get it. I mean, I didn't say to stay that long. I mean, I got to, no, 6 years. No, I made the fight. I'm in Chicago. It can never be taken back. You can never say it didn't happen, right? So then now we talk about what? Total congruence. That means, what does that mean? People in the group, what does that mean?
Alignment.
I'm her everywhere, all the time.
Essentially. There is no separation. It's not like, so watch this. It's money, it's health, it's success, it's whatever it is you want. Relationship.
In all departments.
It's all of it. It's this. You're all of that. Guess what humanity does? Well, my money is good, but my health is, so my money is up, but my health is bad. My success is up, but my kids hate me. My business is kind of mid. What does that look like to you? What does that look like?
A hot mess.
A mess.
Out of alignment.
It looks like the stock market.
Mm.
And with the stock market, for most people are doing what? Guessing. Right? So guess what you're doing. So guess what you're doing with your life? Guessing. Most people are guessing. You're up here, down here, up here, down here, up here. You're sideways here. You're looking at the stock market. So the NASDAQ 500, this is the Latoya 500. Your life, this is your, all of these things are you. All of them are you. Total congruence means if I could get to the airport 10 minutes early when I thought I was late, if I can do that, well then the same power that did that, you mean it doesn't care about my health? That's what you're saying? Oh, okay, well it cares about, but just those two. Well then it doesn't care about my relationships? So I have money and I'm healthy, but I come home and my kids don't like me? That's what you're saying? Well then, okay, yeah, but okay, well then, but you know, well, you have your own business, but so you mean I should have a business and it should fail? Oh, but wait a minute, hold on, come on, no, because you know, come on, tell the truth. It should fail. Failure. Okay, does this make you feel better? Fail fast. Does that would make you feel better? That make you feel better? Fail, what do we say? Fail fast, fail up, failure is a part of this. I mean, does that make you feel better? Sure. Oh, okay. So you should be successful. So total congruence means I am everywhere in everything. Period. It's not negotiable. It's not debatable. It's not optional. It's not externally manipulated. It is internally aligning. I internally align with my chosen outcome. Leanne internally aligned. She said, "This is my house." She said that within herself to herself. It is Leanne talking to her I amness, talking to her awareness of being. Just like her son would talk to her. I am this thing. This is what I choose to be. Okay, so the parent helps you become that thing. So like they help you learn how to brush your teeth. Doesn't your parent help you do everything generally? Somebody older when you're young, brush your teeth, use the bathroom, walk, ride a bike. Somebody older with more experience that knows more does it. And then they hand that, then because all they're doing is helping you to learn all the functions that are already within you. They can help you ride the bike, but they can't ride it for you. Only after a while, you got to use your own legs. They're teaching you how to use what you already have. We're here remembering what we already have and learning how to use them. Like, oh, I can't think that way. I can't say I'm here and I don't know. So I'm here and I ain't leaving, period. So figure it out. Because I'm not leaving here, period. It's get rich or die trying. I'm not going to sit here living on my knees. I'm not doing that. Those days, that's out, right? So it's total congruence. I am H-E-R. H-I-M. Everywhere. I make the plane early. I pay payroll early. I pay my lease or my mortgage early. I do everything early, effortlessly, and easy. I am the best, the greatest, and the only one everywhere I go. I am impactful. I am influential. I am rich. I am healthy. I am happy. All the world loves me and means me well and treats me kindly. Everyone is a link in the chain of my good. This is to inspire you. It's to wake you up from within, not without. From within. All you have when you get off this call is within. The without is like AAA. It's great for a minute, but it leaves. It leaves. My grandfather passed maybe almost 2 years ago. They were married like for 70 million thousand years. And my grandmother is still here. But if she depended on him, she'd be gone too. Right? Like you are in a good way, in a truthful way, you are on your own. It's not in a negative way. It's just understanding that you're I am. And that you are fired up from within. The without can't do anything to you. You're just using it to do something to you or for you. Your heart ain't never attacked nobody. It's my blood pressure is high. Whose blood pressure is mine? So you think it has nothing to do with you? Yeah, it does. Well, then who are you? I am. So then what am I as I am? What am I thinking that's causing my blood pressure to spike? What is it? What am I believing to be true about me first, which will allow me to believe that this can be true for me? That's what Auntie Shaky said. I had to realize, wait a minute. What am I telling myself in this moment? But when we're acting, doesn't it seem like it's real? Like we get ourselves going and we give ourselves all the reasons to believe what we believe. Yeah, but but look at the traffic. It's bad traffic. It's Atlanta. When I go to Atlanta, I'm impressed. And I'm from LA. And can't nobody beat that. It's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and it looks like it's 3 p.m. Period. But I go to Atlanta and I am impressed. I'm like, yeah, this traffic game is kind of strong. I respect it. Yeah, I respect it. I'm like, I'm driving, we're driving by Georgia State. We're driving by Georgia Tech. We're downtown, going through somewhere. I'm like, yeah, stop and go is pretty strong out here. I respect it. You got to give credit where credit's due, right? And so then your brain said, look, but you know how it goes. So then you really get into your role. But you're the role of a victim now. So you're not defining the role. You're the role of a victim. And when you play the role of a victim, you know what comes after that? Victimization. You're now victimized. And that's how you feel when you're sitting there looking out the window and the plane's going up in the sky. You've been victimized at that point. But you can only be victimized if you're first the victim. And you can only be the victim when you assign that role. And you only assign that role when you start acting. And you only start acting like a fool when you stop remembering who you are. This all happens in sequence. You just don't realize it Is this all happening that way? You didn't end up there for no reason. You didn't end up there. No, you played the role that this could happen to. So then, Suzanne, you have to choose I am. Well, who is that? Who am I? I am. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I telling myself? Who am I choosing to tell myself I am from this moment forward? Who am I? Leanne got a house she couldn't afford when she first got it. I mean, in her mind, she was like, man, when she told me that story, I was like, man, that was cool. Because, we're in a one-on-one, so she has longer. She just did it shorter this time. But she told me all the things she was thinking, right? But she's there 6 years later. So if it's the truth in the beginning, it's not going to turn into a lie in the end. What does the book say? I'm not a man that I should lie, nor a son of man that I should repent. I ain't you. I'm not going to sit here and cap. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I'm on my way. Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to pick you up. Oh, but I forgot. No. So if you're like, that's mine, then that's mine. It's mine until you say it's not. And she obviously hasn't said she's not. She's still in it. Nobody's ever come and took it. So then, right, you're the alpha and the omega. You are the cause and the outcome. You're the beginning and the end. That's why she's still there. That's why Aunt Jake is the cause, and she's in Chicago. Monique was the cause, and the payroll was paid. Right? You get to choose. That is your greatest superpower, your choice. Who am I? From all things that I could be, who am I? Who am I choosing to be? There's no right or wrong because no matter what choice you make, that's what's required, a choice. And it requires you to make a choice and stick with it. You're making a choice and sticking with it. In every area of your life, what we do here is make you aware that you're doing it so that you can do it on purpose, like LaToya said, on purpose. On purpose. Choose this day who you serve on purpose. As for me and my house, we will serve
the Lord, the law.
The law. I am whatever I tell myself. That is what I serve. What I tell myself. But I realize if that's what I serve, then that is what's being served. That is what I am serving. That's the experience I'm choosing to operate under as in. That's the experience. That's the environment that I'm in. Understand that. This isn't about blame, guilt, or shame. This is understanding that you are responsible because you are I am. I am. That means you're responsible. But if you don't know your I am, you can't be responsible. And if you don't know you're responsible, then you can't be held accountable. And so most people, you're trying to hold people accountable for an identity they don't even know that they are. They don't know they have a say. They don't know they have a choice. Don't people tell you, I can't help it? It wasn't my fault. You just don't understand. Yeah, but you just don't know how it is. How are you going to hold people accountable when they can't even be held to be responsible? And how are you going to make them responsible for something that it requires an awareness of being to be? It's like asking your 9-year-old child to pay taxes just because they live there. How are you going to make them responsible for something and then hold them accountable for something that they don't have the identity of? They have the identity of a child. They don't have the identity of being an adult yet. So you can't make them responsible and accountable for an adult type behavior with a child mind. Right? We're here to grow up, to continuously mature by continuously remembering who we are in every moment, all the time. See, I don't say this, but I'm gonna say it. But I'm gonna say it this time. I'm gonna say it one time. I want you guys to understand something. When we have the youth circle, that ain't to get your money. I'm popping without you. I don't care. It's to help you. And the point is that you can't come, if you just come to here, this is like the game. I told this example. A guy on my team, we're getting ready to go play Oregon State. And we are going up to, we're getting ready to go. We had practice early in the day. And we're going to get on the plane to go up to play that night. The next day. And we're getting that night to get on the plane. We go to practice. Kid on my team gets kicked out of practice. Doing stupid stuff, got kicked out of practice. So his parents drove up from LA to go see the road trip. We were playing Oregon and Oregon State. We're going to see the road trip. They get into the game. He's the best player on the team. He's not starting. They go and they're thinking, well, what's the problem? Well, they would have known if they were in practice. But the game only shows you what's been happening in practice. Nothing different happens in the game than it does in practice. But if you look at any team, the thing you get to see least of any team is the practice. They don't ever let you see the practice. because that's where it's made. That's where it is. That's where everything you see in the game, it's already happened in practice. Why do you think the coach knows who to start and who not to start? You think playing time and all stuff is determined in the game? It's determined in practice, because what you do here, we know you're going to do there. That's where you earn the coach's trust and respect. That's why they put you out there or they don't. So he got kicked out of practice with running his mouth. And so the next game he didn't start. His parents going to the game, they're thinking that, oh, he's going to start. They're assuming. But he didn't, because he got kicked out of practice. They didn't know that. So if you only show up to the games, you don't really know what's going on with the team. Not really. So the youth circle is designed to help you practice. Because if you just show up here, it's not enough repetition. You're not, this is just where I tell you, oh, okay, Lucky, how do you play basketball? What's the goal? The goal is to win. Does that mean you know how to play? You know the goal is to win, but that doesn't mean you know how to play. The youth circle is to help you learn how to play the game that you're supposed to be winning. But you don't know how to win, and you don't know that you should be winning. And here, I can only give you so much information. The youth circle is designed not to get your money. It's designed to help you learn how to play. I say in the most respectful way, I don't need you. If I did, I'd be in trouble. So I'm not here. That's why I don't mind popping off on Saturdays, because I want you to learn and I want you to know who you are. I'm not here trying to get you money. Ain't no offering basket popped off every week. Ain't no, you don't see me asking you for shit on here. Nothing. And I do this free. We do this free every week. We've been doing it for years. Never late. I ain't up here looking crazy. I ain't up here guessing, figuring it out. We do this like we get paid for it every week. And we ain't never shorted you over nothing. So I don't need you, right? But I want you to not need me. I want you to realize that you're all that it takes, whether you're in the back of an Uber, whether you're out there with Acreage on your thing, whether you're out there talking to women at a high school like Karen did, whether you're out there, keeping the doors on the thing and, and certain, like you all know who you are when I'm talking to you, right? But that's what the youth circle is for. It's to help you practice. It's to help you learn who you are so you can win the game you're supposed to be winning. And just Saturday's not enough. You're just showing up to the game. But it's not enough if you don't know how to think all the time. And so showing up on Saturday is not enough. It's not to say, well, let me see how. That's not what this is. I hate going to places like that. I don't want to hear you asking me for something every week. If I want to do it, I want to do it. If I don't, I don't. That's why you don't ever hear me ask you for nothing. Because that's not what this is for. It's not what it's about. But I want you to understand that that the people who are in the group, and they'll tell you it's different. And because you get to focus just on you. And you get to understand where you're missing. So now I'm shaking. It's like, yeah, I know how to change this right now. I'm not saying that's because of me or here. It could be anything. But I told Veronica, I was like, I already knew who she was. I used to see her walking fast on the carpet going to the podcast. I used to see her steaming down the carpet, right? Focused, locked in. I was like, oh, okay, right? I can see certain things because of what I do, because of who I am, right? So that's what it's for. It's to help you practice, because that's where the team is made. That's where the playing time is determined. That's where your success is determined. You don't get better or get worse in the game. You've already won or lost the game before you showed up. The scoreboard is just official. I've never played a team that I was better than before I got there. I was either better than them or worse before I showed up. I ain't never won a game I wasn't supposed to win. Never. You don't win a day you're not supposed to win. You're either winning the day or losing the day based on who you are. That's what the youth circle is for. It's to help you learn how to play every day to win the game you're supposed to be winning. And just showing up here on Saturday is not going to be enough generally. Because Monday through, after you get off this call through the next Saturday, what are you hearing? What are you listening to? What are you telling yourself? What are you allowing? Are you missing flights you shouldn't miss? Are you missing payroll you shouldn't miss? Are you sitting in a place you shouldn't be living in while looking at the place you love to live in? If you don't know how to, then guess what? That's why these things keep happening. Because most of you, when I hear you every week, you're telling the same story. So what does that mean? That means you're reading the same page out of the same book. You keep reading the same page, there ain't going to be no new letters on there. There's no new words coming on the same page, right? If you don't learn how to turn the page from where you stand, you're never going to get to see it. Well, I'm waiting on the Lord. That's like waiting to turn the page. Whose job is it to turn the page? You. Whose job is it to tell yourself, I'm different? That dude in the bed was going to die. And he said, the only way to change anything is to change your state of consciousness concerning it. Auntie Shaky, change your state of consciousness concerning it. I'm going from the state of consciousness of, I'm going to miss this thing to, you know what, let me change my state of consciousness. Let me tell myself something different. Leanne did it. Monique did it. The goal is to learn how to do that every way, all the time. Total congruence. There is no separation between my health, my money, my relationships, there is no separate. I am him, I am her, period. There is no other. So if there is no other, this is going according to me. So if I don't like how it's going, then guess who's got to change? Me. It can't change before I change. So the youth circle is to help you do that, to help you learn who you are. Because nobody else is telling you. We're all winners. We've been conditioned to believe we're losers trying to win. So we're always fighting this uphill battle of, let me try to get it. Let me pray for it. And so you end up begging God or begging your consciousness when it's you. Why are you begging? Do you want your children to beg something for you? Mom, can I please? They're like, no, they're only begging for things they know they shouldn't have. They ain't begging you to eat. They're begging you to go to the party when they didn't study. That's what they're begging. Yeah. See, that's when you're begging God. It's because you're asking for something for whatever reason you don't think you have a right to. But if you don't have a right to it, who does? Who is a rainbow for? Who is a sunset for? Who's going to Puerto Rico because you love it for? Who's going to New York because you love it while you're in Canada and love the state? Who is it for if it's not for you? So then why are you begging for it? Do they have to beg for it? Do they have to beg for it? So why are you begging for it? Because of who you believe yourself to be. You don't believe that you're worthy of that. You don't believe that you have a right to it. You don't believe that that's who you are, what you should have. So then you try to beg and coerce God to give you something that you don't feel you have a natural right to. That's why things are hard. And that's what the youth circle's for, is to get you to remember who you are so that you start popping. And you'll pop quick. But I don't want to hear, I'm just telling you what it's for. But I'm telling you that because just on Saturdays, it's not enough generally. I can't tell you everything you need to hear. And I'm definitely not going to tell you half the stuff I'll tell you in a one-on-one. Auntie Shaky and I talk all kind of crazy on our call. All kind of crazy. We say all kind of stuff. Who was I talking? Monique and I. Monique will tell you. What did I say? Will be removed, replaced, or remodeled. And she looked at me like, yeah, I said it just like that. She knew the word I put before remove, replace, and remodel. Yeah, because that is what you need to hear, to remember who you are in this moment. Because once you do that, your whole world changes. Because the world you're seeing that you're calling reality is nothing but a physical expression of you. It's nothing but a physical expression of your internal conversation. Who you think you are, and as a result of who I think I am, my experiences go like this. And if you have low self-esteem, if you are have imposter syndrome, do you think God would have imposter syndrome? Right. So then why do you have it? Do you think how God would have high blood pressure? So then why do you have it? You think God couldn't afford it? So why would you say it? But it's easy to say when you don't know who you are. That's what the circle is for. It ain't to get your money. It's to help you pop off and win the game you're supposed to be winning. You're supposed to be winning. When you cut yourself, that's not good, but it's supposed to clot and get back to normal, get back to health. Winning is health. Victory is health. Losing is not healthy. There's nothing valuable in it. But guess what? You'll tell yourself something's valuable in it if that's all you're doing. Everything is a nail if all you got is a hammer. You've got to make it work. Oh, well, I'm out here making it work. I'm out here doing the best I can. Who is that? Who are you? What are you talking about? I am. I created the heavens and the earth. I didn't try. I am created the heavens and the earth. I'm not just making it work. I am said, let there be light. Not I hope there is. Let there be light. And I ain't moving. Period. They're going to drag me out. I'm not moving. Well, she's still there. I am is still where she said she was going to be. She said, let there be that house. She's still there. As long as you remain who you are, it will still be there. Your health will be whatever it is. Your money will be whatever it is. What are you telling yourself? But whatever you tell yourself is based on who you think you are. So just understand that. Understand that. A lot of you need to be in that group. I ain't asking for your money. I don't care if you can come or not. As you can see, I've been up here for years. You being whatever ain't hurting me, right? But I'm telling you, it's going to help you in ways that you're not being helped. And you can be in there for 2 months and stay yourself years worth of shit and struggle and drama and everything else that you're going through because you don't know who you are. And so you don't know how to respond to something when you see it. You don't know that you can create. You can walk into any one of these theaters and see the movie you want to see. You're not stuck in the one you're in. You ever been in a movie and be like, oh man, that's not the right one. And you leave, or you be like, oh, well, you can do that. You can leave. You can choose something else, right? So I want you to understand that, right? That's why we're here. That is why we're here. All right, that's enough for me. Questions, comments before I let you go?
Good morning, Coach. This was so good. Of course. When you were quoting scriptures, there were certain scriptures you were quoting earlier, and I was able to understand the logic that I didn't know as a child, being in an environment where I had to memorize. You get busted upside the head if the teacher calls you out, the Bible school teacher calls you out and tells you to, finish this scripture or whatever, and you mess it up or you don't know, you would get hit with Mr. Pete. And that was this real thick ruler. It was weird times back then. The 80s and 90s were strange. Okay, so when I stepped away from that world because it was just something about the love of God. He's not going to be abusive. He's not going to be neglectful. He's not going to leave me wondering. God that created me and God that loves me wants me to be abundant and wants me to be healthy and successful and surrounded by safe people and, things of that nature. And this God that's being taught to me, and I would cross my fingers and respectfully ask that nobody under the sound of my voice ever reach out to me and try to follow up with some sort of anything. Like, this is a safe space where I feel safe to open up to Coach Lucky about, things that I have experienced, but this is not a permission slip for anybody to reach out to me with their support or, encouragement, because that it doesn't translate that way in my direction. It translates as you can't just be a good listener, because that's why I'm opening up in these calls, because I'm expressing, experiences that I want clarity on from Coach Lucky specifically. And respectfully, I say that super respectfully. But to be taught that God was this scary figure and that he was this harmful being who will bring down the reign of terror, if I don't memorize these things and if I don't step up in these ways, I'm going to suffer. That over the course of 20 plus years of that type of training with the Bible, it pushed me away. And so to come back to this space, to come into this space, the Mentality Club, the Mentality Academy, all of these spaces that you have created over the years since we've met, you are literally, and I say this every week now, you are literally the first person that I have come across who can explain the Bible in a way that sounds safe, that sounds like abundance is real. It's not just something we talk about. Faith is not just something that we just cross our fingers and hope it happens. We make things happen by becoming the person who thinks this way. And by telling ourselves, no, this is what I have. I get to the airport early. I have all the parents signing up for my programs. I'm always overflowing with this. I'm always needing new teachers. Whatever the case, this is the first community where I've been able to actually see how the Bible makes sense. The Bible is not a scary book. It's not a book of scary stories. You know what I'm saying? So I have to give you your flowers and I have to give you your applause, and I have to continuously invite more people into the community, because the open-minded, the way that you opened my mind to process the Bible again, I let the Bible kind of sit over on the shelf. Like, I'm good on you. You a little too confusing for me. I'm chilling. You brought the Bible back to center where it's refreshing again. And when you said that Jesus didn't make his disciples hustle and grind, he made them think. Man, I just love the way you explained that. I wish that I would have learned that way. But because I learned the way that I learned, my question to you, that's like a perfect transition to my question. I started writing a book to share my journey and inspire others. When I tell ladies, especially ladies, a lot of ladies, when I tell them my story, it's because I feel safe to open up to them in that space to share my story. I know that they're respectful women and they're going to receive my story in a healthy manner and respond in a healthy manner. And so I'm going to I've told myself I'm going to write my book. I'm going to share my journey. I feel like it is a HBO worthy journey. One day me and HBO gonna have a conversation, and I want to know, how do I tell my story? Because I've doubted if I should tell my story. Right? I'm wondering, how do I tell my story without speaking what I chose? Once upon a time, I chose these things. I didn't know that until I came to this community that I chose my journey. So how do I tell my story today without um without how do I tell my story without speaking what I once upon a time chose? how do I tell my story of the things that I've experienced in life without reclaiming or re-choosing those things today? That makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So answer two parts of the answer. Number one, just because you're talking about something in the past doesn't mean you're identifying with it. Doesn't mean inherently you are. We know when we're talking about the past as identity, like, oh, well, this is what I've always been, or because this happened, I'm not something else. You could just be talking about the past as a memory because you're using it in the context that to help people understand where you were coming from, where you were and where you're coming from, and where you are now. It allows people to like what Monique said and what Auntie Shaky said and what Leanne said as far as examples of stories. Those things happened in the past. Those things happened, whether it's an hour ago, 2 days ago, 6 years ago, but they're using it to explain why they are where they are now, why they think the way they think now, why they feel what they feel now, why they believe what they believe now. So just because you're talking about something that has happened doesn't mean that you're identifying with that. It just means you're using that past as something to help people get a better understanding of who you are now, where you've come from, what you've experienced, what you've gone through, so that they get a better understanding of who you are now, why you are now, what you are now, why you feel the way you feel now. It helps people get a better understanding because they get to see where you've come from and where you are. That is different than identifying with it. You're just using it as an example for something for them to be able to see the progression of change, of the choices that you've made. That's number one. Number two is sometimes the best way, to me, I'm finding what they would call living in the end. What I would do if I were you, as far as how the book is written, is define what you want the outcome of the written book to be. Do you want it to be a bestseller? Do you want it to be impactful? Do you want it to be something that people can use to change their lives with? You're writing a book for what? What do you want the outcome of this experience to be? Sarita is actually good with that. Defining who do I want to be in this experience? So let's say you're an author. Who do I want to be in the experience of it as an author? I want to be a bestseller, or I want to be someone whose books impact, or I want to be someone whose books change lives and save lives, extend lives, improve lives. I want to be like, who do you want? You're choosing the experience of an author. Then what you do is choose your experience as you choose the outcome of that experience. I'm choosing the experience as an author, and as an author, I choose my experience to be this. When you now are adapting that, then the book is already written. That's what the idea for. The desire is just proof that something exists. So the book is already written, but kind of like Auntie Shaky's thing is a good example today. Her outcomes, the options were already available. She just experienced the one she chose. She chose instead, she realized at first I'm running late, but I'm going to shift that to choose everything is perfect. I'm there, everything is good. Both of those exist. She just got the one that she chose and stuck with. So every outcome of you being an author exists. So what I would do to make the book easiest for you to experience is to choose the end result of writing that book. What do I want the outcome of this experience to be? I've chosen to be an author. What do I want the outcome of being an author to be? Do I want to be a bestseller, impactful, important? Or do I whatever I want? From there, you're basically choosing the book that's written. All the books are already written, but you're pulling that one off the shelf based on what you have chosen the outcome to be.
I appreciate you, Coach.
You go. And congratulations already.
Thank you.
Yes. Veronica, who else do you want to call?
Leanne, go ahead.
Hey.
I just really wanted to respond to that because I just wrote a book and it's my memoir and my story. And I wrote about a whole lot of stuff that I was terrified to admit was true, but it was the past. And I think that it's really helpful when you're writing a book to admit what you chose, because that's what makes the story. And going through the experience of remembering and talking about all of the things that you went through helps you process it and actually release it. It's very healing. So allow yourself to write about what you chose, even though you don't want to admit that that's what you chose. That's what makes the impact, because look at where you're at now, writing the story. And you don't identify with what you chose in the past. You identify with, I've come through it, I'm past it, and look at me now. So that's my advice, because I just am in the final process of publishing a book as well. So I just really had to speak to that.
That's it. The greatest painting company in Canada. Hi. That's it. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Veronica.
Auntie Shaky.
Oh, coach, listen, victory only, victory always. Do you hear me? Favor only, favor always. This is today was there was so much here, so much here. The biggest thing that I can't even say the biggest thing, but I'm gonna point this thing out just in case. Just so I can re-say it to myself so it gets in my soul. You know, actually, I think it's in there anyway, but you said that when I got to the airport, that just wasn't a benefit to me. That was a benefit for everybody that was along for the ride. When I know who I am, and whoever is attached to me, whoever is in the scene who's watching it with me also experience what I experience. My God. My God. So you said something to me one time in our one-on-one, and I was expressing about my team, and you know, like I really want them to win, you know. But my mentor was telling me, oh, you need to just get new people. You know, you just need to keep getting new people, you know, leave the old people behind, just get new people. And when you said no, there's no reason why the people you got right now can't be winning. You just assume them to be winning. I feel like where we are right now in listening to the physicians, are keeping us from the life that we really, truly want to win with the people we really want to win with. And when she decided, the woman with the issue of blood, when she decided, she was healed. She was healed. And that's the same way even with my business. When I decide the thing about my business, everybody around me has to experience it. And so that right there for me is something that I'm a hold on to. And this was just so good.
You know, because I want you to see something you said. Think about physicians. Think about the guy in the story. We didn't finish the story, but basically he came back and he saw the guy healthy and whole. And what he told him to do every night was just imagine, kind of like I was telling Sparkle Bailey, like choose your experience and what you want the outcome of it to be. So he started talking about his outcome, right? I'm a best-selling author. Or he started talking about his outcome in this case, like I'm well. The doctor, like he imagined like the doctor saying he was well. So he said he went back and saw him about, I think maybe a year later, and the guy, he went to the guy's house, and the guy was out there playing with his kids. He said he was fully in health. You would never know he had that problem. You would have never known. But he said what he told him to do was constantly focus on his chosen end. I am well, or I am rich, or I am in this house, or I am a best-selling author, or all my team is winning, all right? All of my team is winning, right? Period. Like I keep focusing on that. And that is like the navigation that you put when you're home, you put in where you want to go, you're putting in the end. And so while you're driving, you don't change the destination and the address just because of what you're seeing. Otherwise, you'll never get to the end, right? You just use the end to pull you to it. You use that because the end is what's telling you how to get there. The beginning is not telling you how to get there. Otherwise, you wouldn't use navigation, right? You only pray because you're assuming the end, and you let your prayer, you let your assumed end pull you to it, right? It knows how to navigate the streets. If you knew how to get there, you would never use navigation. If you already knew how to eat, you wouldn't pray, right? So anytime you're praying, it's like you're putting the destination, you're putting your desired end in the system, and you're letting that pull you to it as your experience. It knows how to maneuver. You're being pulled from the end, not the beginning. You're starting in the beginning, but you're putting in the end from the beginning. And you let the end pull you because the end is clear. What do they say? Hindsight is 20/20. Right? We can all look back, kind of like Leanne said, we can all look back on our life and be like, oh, now I see clearly how this happened. But while you're going through it, you can't. So that's what navigation's for. Navigation is the end because the end is always clear. So if you put in the end, then the end will clearly, it will make things clear. She said things started falling into place. So whatever it is you want, you put the end in. You know what do I want? I want this for my team. I want this for myself. I'm picking the end as far as I can see the end. Now, when I step up closer, the end may change. Okay, I can change that. But I choose the end as far as I can see it, and I identify myself as that. Now, why did I say that? Because when you talk about physicians, and I don't mean, God made physicians too, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. Doctors, dentists, all of them. But if you look at it, physicians don't help you create your dream, really. They help you manage your current reality. There's a difference between creating your reality, meaning choosing darkness. I'm in darkness and I want there to be light, rather than, well, this is how we're going to manage the dark. Right? You manage high blood pressure. You manage cancer. You manage this, or it is a system of management. It's not a conspiracy. I'm not saying any of that. I want you to understand, to your point, the distinction between the Lady of Blood. What if she went to all the physicians, spent all her money, and was worse off? Or the guy was in there, and the same people who are supposed to create, the physicians are supposed to create if you can't. They're supposed to create. No, a lot of times what they're doing is helping manage. That's why they said there was no hope. They gave up. But guess what? How can they create if there's only one creator? And that creator's name is who? I am. That's why when the lady said, I am whole, I am. So then she was operating as a creator, which means now she put them in their right context. And she realized, okay, as the creator, the physicians actually aren't the best person to do this. They may be for something else, but not for this. So when she took her power back and didn't immediately say, I am a physician, no, I am the creator. That's who you are, the creator. Right? As the creator, then you pick, is it best for me to do it, or is it best for a physician to do it? I get to choose as the creator, not as the manager of health. Got medicine, and you manage it forever. It never alleviates it. It never changes it. It never takes it away. You just manage it. And how do you know it doesn't take it away? What happens if you get on that plane and you forget your medicine? Look at how people get pent up. They can't even focus on where they are now. Right? Because they're just waiting for the symptoms to come back. Because guess what? You've never changed your experience. What it say? You can only change your reality by change of consciousness. By saying, okay, I am healthy. Now, keep taking your medicine while you tell yourself I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Don't stop taking your medicine. Keep taking your medicine while you tell yourself you're healthy. When you tell yourself you're healthy constantly, you are being something. And that being, at a certain point, when you fully embody it, doesn't need medicine. You won't stop taking it, you'll forget. You'll just forget one day. It'll just naturally fall off because it's no longer on your radar, because that's not who you are. Just like if you never needed it because you didn't have it, you won't need it once you no longer are it. You only need it because of who you were. You don't need it when you're something else. So you don't have to stop taking your medicine. You don't have to stop going to the doctor. You don't have to stop showing up to your calls. No, but you come to your calls as the boss whose group is popping. You show up as the boss who all the people under you are popping. All of them have the victory and all. It's victory always for them too. Shit, it's great for you to be Jesus, but not if you can't help anybody. But you don't happen to help anybody by busting your own tail and by staying up all night with them on the phone. The first place you help them, and really the only place you help them, is by remodeling them in your mind. I'm now the person who has this, my group operates like this, not for them, but for me. This is about me. This is about me experiencing them the way I want to experience them. That's where the change comes, because you have changed. Now, because you are the person who has this, then they have to, then what you do is you get access to that version of them. You had access to the version of yourself that was going to miss the plane, and you had access to the version of yourself who was going to make it. You started off with the one that was going to miss it, and you changed it to the one who made it. And both were available for you, and you got the one you chose and stuck with. So those people, that group popping like the way you want it, the only reason you could want that is because it's true. So all you have to do now, so you take that desire as proof, the proof that it's already true, and you choose that truth. And just like you were 10 minutes early, they will be popping. That's what you're going to see, just like that. So wonderful. Yes, creator, not manager. Creator, not manager. All right, anyone else? Wonderful. All right, Veronica, anything you want to say?
I said it in the chat a couple times. Saturday is literally just the surface. And you said it. This is the game. You guys, we all come out here in our outfits and we're cheering. The youth circle is the practice, and that's where real shift really starts happening. So if you guys are interested in that, you can always reach out. You know how to reach me, or I put the link in the chat. And that's it. We're winning.
Wonderful. Well, like we always say, we went out and practice. Now it's playtime. It's time to go out there and play, right? Be the salt of the earth, the candle lights of the whole house, and the house that cannot be hid. The world should be better because you're in it. The world is better because the sun is in it. The sun don't have to tell nobody, ain't said a word, don't speak English, nothing, but we all feel it. We all live by it. We all live under it. It affects all of us. Because of its presence, it's the fullness of itself. When you are the fullness of itself, you affect your world. You affect everything and everyone in it. You just radiate. It's not the word, it's just the fact that you're literally merely present. You're present. They're like, who is that? Why does that person? People will see you. They will feel you. You will bring light and life to the world, right? That's what you're supposed to do. That's natural. That is health. Victory is natural. Health is natural. Your presence and your importance, your value, your impact, your success is natural. The opposite is not. Failure is not natural. Poverty is not natural. Sickness is not natural. It's a choice. It's a possibility, but it's not natural. That's why your body's always fighting to be healthy. That's why you always want to be successful. That's why, because that's natural. That's a natural expression of yourself. The opposite is not. So happy Saturday. Have a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all soon on the next one.
The best. Thank you, Coach.
Right.